Hello, listening people.
Hello.
You are listening to Spit and Polish presents Unappreciated Masterpieces. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Bartek.
And of course you are listening to Spit and Polish presents Unappreciated Masterpieces. Bartek, what is it that we do on Spit and Polish presents Unappreciated Masterpieces?
We sit down, you press the button with the recording button, and we talk for like 2 hours. Jesus, it's a really long time.
Yes, this is a long one.
No, seriously, we take those movies, those movies.
You know those movies?
Yes, maybe they don't know. I'll explain it. Those movies are the ones that, haven't been appreciated, once were and now are not. The ones that really need the appreciation today. We want you to watch these movies and understand what we, intellectuals, see in this movie so that we can give it the appreciation it deserves.
That's beautiful. That was the whole soliloquy. Thank you, Bartek. Yeah, so we get unappreciated masterpieces, forgotten gems, such classic movies that are so classic that the general mass just doesn't appreciate them in their time. And what is this glorious unappreciated masterpiece that we're going to be doing for this episode, Bartek?
Ladies and the other ones, this episode we are doing a new decade. We've done 90s and 2000s so far. I don't think we've delved out of that.
No.
So, you're probably thinking, oh dear, they're probably doing the 1980s now. No, we're doing the current decade. And the movie that we are watching today is Annie.
Look, I didn't speak Polish, but...
You're right.
So, I don't know what the movie... Well,
you don't know what
sounded a lot like the English word, Annie. Could the movie be, shot in the dark, if I had to guess what kind of Polish...
Yeah, what do you think Annie
movie
is?
I'm guessing that we're going to be watching Avengers 2 Age of Ultron.
No, you stupido. We're doing Annie, also colloquially known as Black Annie.
Oh, Annie from 2014, starring Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, and that other one who's the main character.
I can't pronounce her name. I looked at her name and I just gave up. I was like, I could listen to someone say her name and I could get it wrong.
I practiced her name before here and I got it right, but now I've forgotten how it's...
You speak Polish and you can't get a black girl's name right? Now who's the racist? Jeez,
I'm sorry, I practiced and I got it perfect.
Perfection.
Her last name's Wallis. K. Wallis.
Yeah. So we are doing the 2014 classic Annie, but we can't do it alone.
Oh.
That's right, Bartek. We are usually joined with a guest. And Bartek, who is our lovely guest for today?
Our guest today is Madison.
Hi, Madison.
I forgot your last name.
That's right. I'm the token ginger, so it's okay.
Her last, yeah, that's it. She's a token ginger. Hello, Madison. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. I watched Annie, so
I'm good too.
I watched it last night, so
we all watched it last night. I finished watching it for the first time, and we have a Facebook discussion, Bartek and I, for this show, and all I typed was Cameron Diaz.
And I respond with, I got 25 minutes left from the movie.
And I'm just like, I don't want to spoil it for you, but you get 25 more minutes of Cameron Diaz. And boy, is that an accurate description of the movie.
Yeah, she was in all 25, well, most of the 25 minutes.
She's in like 25 minutes of the movie.
Like when you sent me that message, she was talking to the bodega guy.
Brilliant. So we all watched Annie. How did you guys feel? It was all our first time watching this version of Annie.
Of any version for me.
For you, have you ever watched Annie being a ginger?
I have. It's my favourite ginger-related movie, but
really, not Ginger Snaps?
Close second.
Close second.
Yeah, it was good, interesting.
Lots of emotions were felt.
Lots of emotions.
This is our first musical on the show that we've done. We've never done a musical before, and I felt like we had to do a musical. And I think Bartek, even you once commented, Ryan, we've got to do a musical. And I just thought to myself, what musical? Like an actual filmed musical is unappreciated in our current time. And it's really hard because when I think of film musicals, I think of like,
Oliver,
Phantom of the Opera and Oliver and like all these films, and I was just like, Annie Annie. I remember 2014's Annie. This is the most recent movie we've done too. So
Oh yeah.
so it's in the memory pretty fresh in comparison to some of the other ones that we've done. And I remember vividly standing in Flinders Street waiting for a tram, and there was just a giant like billboard screen of Jamie Foxx, and it just said like Annie, and I just remember being back then going, Jamie Foxx playing Annie? No thanks. Little did I know that he is not in fact playing Annie. He is in fact playing, what was it, Bill Stacks.
William Stacks.
Billy Stacks. So Annie is the film. Yes, 2014 Annie. So we're going to start this magnificent film, this unappreciated masterpiece, this just a movie. This is just a film. We're going to start it in 3, 2, 1, play. Beautiful stuff. So
Beautiful click.
it was a beautiful clicking sound. So this was everyone's first dip into the new Annie. Bartek, what was your experience with this? How did you feel when I actually did say we're going to be doing Annie, Black Annie, Blanny? Blanny.
Nickname for Blanche.
How did you feel? And what was your experience watching it last night for the first time?
Well, yeah. So my thing was, that movie. I heard about that movie. My understanding of it was that it was very much targeted at a black audience, but having watched it, I don't really think it's exclusively a black audience, because the one review talk about it that I've heard of was on the cinemasnob.com. They have a show called Midnight Screenings.
Yeah.
And for that show, they sent one white guy to the cinema, and he said that he was the only white person there, and a black woman asked him, what's your white ass doing here at Black Annie? So I that's sort of what I thought I was walking into, but no, even from the first shot, no black people.
I think doing this film, I think it's appropriate for us 3 white people to talk about it. Don't you, Madison?
I think
To
it's
get the white perspective, because Annie doesn't have enough white perspective, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
I don't think we've had enough white Annie experiences, so yeah, Bartek, that's the thing. When I watched it too, I was expecting it to be like Black Annie, Blanny, like this whole joke I've heard of, like, the black rendition of Annie. Annie's very white. I think we can all agree that, like, the original Annie, the whole thing, ginger orphan girl meets the president,
And it was set
sun
in-
will come out tomorrow, all
And it was
that.
set in the 30s, too.
Set in the 30s and all that. It's very, it's one of those musicals that is very white for no reason, really. It's like, that's how it's instilled. So I think it's very brave of the filmmakers and, I don't know, Jay-Z and Will Smith and Sia?
And his wife, Will Smith's wife.
And Sia. Yeah, but she didn't have as much of a part in the music side of it as Will Smith did. At least he kind of helped in a little. But Jay-Z and Sia worked on this. Brilliant. I mean, the song will come out tomorrow. Of course, Hard Knock Life. Some of these classics. Do we all know the music to Annie in general? I don't really know apart from those 2 main songs.
I knew some of the songs that I didn't know that some of those songs originated from Annie, but I knew some of the songs in this movie. I'm not typically into like contemporary music, so
Yeah, music
I
sucks.
noticed the older ones a bit more.
Contemporary music.
I noticed
The 19th,
Musical theatre from like...
the 30s.
I know that, yeah. So I was surprised when some of these songs that I did know originated from Annie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in all fairness, some of the songs in here, I did not find out which ones. Some of them are new songs added to the musical. And, look, if I had to take a guess at which ones they were, I think I could take a guess, because there are some of them that just don't really fit in with the style of the music of Annie, even if in this new modern upped version of it.
Yeah.
Did you have a favourite song? Even if you don't know the name of them, a favourite musical sequence?
Like in the movie?
Yeah.
Mine were like the favourite like old classic ones.
Yeah.
I know.
I loved Cameron Diaz
I did love that one as well.
crawling around, seeing children everywhere. Like, that
Yeah.
was her nightmare.
Little girls, yeah.
Her nightmare was seeing little girls, and it was terrifying to me as someone who also does not like children. They're alright.
You just see little girls everywhere.
They keep following me. I keep telling the police that it's not my fault, but they don't believe me because I'm a straight white male. So, here's something I thought was very interesting if you guys picked up on it. I think for the first half of the movie at least, all the music, the sounds of the outside world is incorporated into the track of the song. Did you guys notice that?
Like Hard Knock Life, definitely.
And this opening number,
opening
and
sequence.
a few of them, and some of Some Will Come Out Tomorrow had this. How do you guys feel about that? Because that's not a very common thing to happen in movie musicals. Like, it makes sense on stage. It makes it feel way more creative. But how did you guys feel about it in a movie?
Like, I liked it personally.
Yeah.
I thought it really suited the movie.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like gradually kind of brought in the music. Otherwise, it's like bam, song sequence.
Yes, and then there's points in which they do go bam, song sequence, and you wonder.
Keep on your toes.
And keep. Madison gets it. This movie is all about keeping you on your toes. Like, for instance, I know we're jumping ahead a little, but there was a musical scene later on in which Byrne and Annie just start singing about how magnificent this house that she lives in is.
I think I'm gonna like it here.
I did not expect that to happen, and boy am I proud.
I didn't expect that the Russian lady would join them in the song.
the Russian lady who is probably like in her late 20s, but she comes off as if she is in fact 59 years old. Like, you know what I mean? And she's like, she's young. She's clearly younger than Jamie Foxx, and she's like, she's just putting on. She feels so old. So
here we're introduced to his. Not lackeys, or right hand, left hand people.
His team.
Yeah.
What they're called.
So, my initial impression of it was that they'd kind of like be, his yes men, sort of to compare them to another characters from movies we've seen. From the Shaggy Dog, the two scientists. Like,
yes,
they were just going to be these two goofy people who for the whole movie are just going to be like overly organized, like saying, oh, this is your poles, this is your...
Yeah.
But no, they ended up being significant characters.
Now, if a movie like this had any time... Because in the original, like, she meets FDR, the president. Hence, at the start, she talks about FDR being her favorite president. It's a slight little wink into the origins, the real...
A reference.
The reference. This is... Look, Obama makes a lot of weird... comedy sketches. Like, he appears on Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis, and he does lots of comedy sketches and just random things. If there was ever a time for Obama to make a cameo in a movie, it was Black Annie. Blanny.
Should have been.
She should have walked up to him and confused him for Jamie Foxx. Like,
yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if the winner of the Candace being the candidate for mayor was Barack Obama?
Instead of that white guy.
Instead of like that white guy who for some reason has Michael J. Fox as support. That was like the weirdest part. Okay. So we've been introduced to all these characters so far. We've got Bill Stacks, we've got the press team, we've got the weird Italian owner guy that probably appears in 2 scenes, yet you think is going to be really important to the plot.
He appears more than 2 times, but it is always out of nowhere.
You get the lovely, eloquent performance of Cameron Diaz.
She's got so many photos of herself.
As would I if I was Cameron Diaz, because she is an incredibly attractive woman. Not right now; they make her quite ugly in this movie, but because she's supposed to be pretty much a whore,
alcoholic,
an alcoholic.
Yeah. She's stuck in the past. Her fashion is early 2000s and stuff like that.
Oh, Cameron Diaz is in this movie. I kept writing in my notes, because I wrote notes for this, Madison. I just kept writing Cameron Diaz, because there's some performers who put in the extra effort. We're all actors. We've acted before. We've done performances. And sometimes in a performance, you know, when you're going through the rehearsal process or whatever, it's sometimes easy to go, like, to say learn your lines, you go through different series of, like, characterizations. Like, you could be like, you know, the sun will come out tomorrow. Or you could say, like, the sun, but, you know, sometimes you goof around, you're like, the sun will come out tomorrow! And that's Cameron Diaz's acting choice for this entire film.
She really went with it.
She
took it and she ran with it.
Yeah, I haven't seen such a ludicrously, outrageously energized performance since the CGI kangaroo in Kangaroo Jack. And she is not CGI. As much plastic surgery as she has had, that makes me think she is in fact a CGI person.
There was a bit of foreshadowing there. When Annie was reading her note, she wasn't even looking at the note.
Sorry, yes. I was just preparing for a weirder comment from Bartek, because every time we do, there's a foreshadowing. You are the one who's like foreshadows something ludicrous. So
I was doing it straight.
We did a quiz, Madison.
A quiz.
Which Annie character are you?
Oh, God.
Now,
Annie?
now, Bartek and I got the same character. Would you like to have a guess which character we would have got? It is a male or female. You don't have to stay to one gender for this one.
I just want to say Annie, because I would just love that. If
We weren't Annie.
No.
Oh.
We were the amazing character of Grace, the you know, Bill Stax's female team member.
His love interest.
His technical love interest when the plot demands it. The one who has friends. You know, the one who has friends. We also have friends. We've got Madison on the show.
We have friends. Yeah.
We have friends. So now they're about to sing.
They are singing.
Hard Knock Life. I'm Pepper in this movie, the one foster girl who would rather not be here right now and tell them to shut up. Look, I'm her.
Yeah.
I wrote
She's
mine.
nearly 13 though.
She's a realist.
She's a realist.
You were a 13-year-old girl once, Madison.
On that idea.
Some might say that you still look like a 13-year-old girl.
Thanks.
Were you like that? Were you know, if I was an 8-year-old kid started singing and wanted you to join in a Hard Knock Life, would you just be like, oh? Were you the Daria
probably
kid?
be a little bit angsty about it.
Were you an angsty kid?
Look, not that angsty, but maybe if I was a foster kid, I would have been that angsty.
Yeah, that's a good a teenage foster kid.
Yeah.
So you'd be less an Annie, more of a Pepper.
Peppery Annie.
Yeah. Look, I wouldn't look out a window and sing, put it that way.
Some racists might say Annie looks a bit like Pepper. Oh, that's terrible, Bartek. Why would you say that?
I don't get it. So this movie does interesting things with some of its songs where, you know, the singing characters and the dancing characters, they're in the realm of the musical. And there's a character who's just like, why are you singing? Come on, don't do this.
Okay, I'm glad you commented on that, right? I wrote in my notes and I've come up with a great movie plot idea. I only noticed that when the character called Guy, you know, the bad guy.
Yeah.
There's a bit later where Annie starts singing at this, you know, big gala event and everyone starts joining in and Guy just turns around and he's like, wait, what? Like, why is everyone singing? And it's just like, makes you think, what is the lore of a musical world? You know, like, you've mentioned it, some people don't know. So I wonder if you made a movie about Guy and it's called something interesting, but it's like, you know, between the beats, and you find out that Guy lives in a musical world, but he has only interacted with people and the world in between the songs. Like, you know, he's been away when there's been a song. He's been away asleep when there's been musical numbers.
He was in the plot realm.
Yeah, he is in the expositions of the musicals, and then he discovers that he's in a musical world, and it like completely changes his life, you know. And I call it like between the beats.
That's good.
I know, right? Wouldn't it be great?
Yeah.
Or like,
But now you have to write some songs.
no,
Yeah.
but you hear like the ends of songs. I like the idea too that maybe like Annie. You know the film Philadelphia with Tom Hanks, in which he's a gay man and he gets AIDS and it becomes this big thing? That movie, but with Annie, and instead of AIDS, it's a suffering of musicals, in which being in a musical is in fact a disease that transfers from person to person. Yeah? You like that idea?
I love it.
And it becomes this emotional drama musical. There's not enough drama musicals out there. We can't all be like Rent. That also involves AIDS. Oddly enough.
Lots of AIDS musicals going around.
So this song started off by the characters saying "It's a hard knock life" a few times, just so you know that what the song's coming up is.
I did not realize Hard Knock Life was from Annie, to be honest. I knew
Me
of
neither.
it. I thought it was from Austin Powers 3, Gold Member.
I knew
with
Yeah.
Dr.
Oh,
Evil singing it in
yeah.
prison.
And Mini-Me.
And Mini-Me.
Yes.
And I do believe that song, the rap song, was by Jay-Z.
Yes.
So he sampled Hard Knock Life. What a weird thing for a rapper to sample. You know, like, I understand, like, Nicki Minaj samples, you know, I like big butts and whatever, because that's already gangster rap. But there's just, Jay-Z was just sitting down and he just went, what am I gonna get to boost my street cred? Sample Annie. The whitest thing ever. I'll sample that. Like, what is he gonna sample next? The Milky Bar Kid? I mean, like, what's he
Ginger
gonna do?
Snaps.
Now that, I would listen to that.
I would listen to Ginger Snaps. So,
I like the choreography.
the choreography is quite amazing, considering also that they're children. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and it's film.
They have been practicing.
They live this lifestyle, a hard knock one that it is. They've been living it so much that they just go through the beats, beat by beat.
They can plate juggle, they can
Yeah,
climb up.
watching it without sound. Yeah, watching this without sound, you have to pay attention to the choreography. And
Is there not an easier way to wash the
Like, I
floor?
feel like she's made that a little bit worse.
She made it
She made
a
more
lot
worse.
worse. She made it like 10 million times worse. So, which character was your favorite, guys? Madison, who's your favorite? Even if you don't remember their name, just describe them and I'll
Out
know.
of all of it,
Yeah, there's so many.
so many A+.
I mean, there's like
characters.
8 orphans here.
Yeah, it took me a while to actually count how many there were because they just all move around.
Yeah, they're just all over the shop.
Oh,
I know, there's a lot of characters.
I kind of even like the dog that arrives later.
I love
Just-
the dog that set up the whole movie because she was chasing that dog.
Yeah,
So the dog, that's a good choice. That's usually like okay, we did a film last episode called Catch That Kid with Kristen Stewart, and I chose the
yeah.
most absurd character to be my favorite, which is like a
Yeah.
background extra who is covering his ears. But this time around, Bartek, I'm going to be fair. My favorite character for a long time was Guy. He was so evil, but then I won over to Grace, and not because in a quiz I was called Grace by Who Are You and Annie, but I love that Grace is just like, she's Rose Byrne, Australian actress after all. She is just in this movie being Grace, and she's like, I have friends, and like
Yeah.
has this giant like she just won't stop
I quite
talking about
like-
her friends.
I like this guy as well.
I was gonna say he was
Yeah,
one of my favorites.
he plays a similar character in Orange Is the New Black.
He's so sensual.
Is he? We know what type of guy gets Madison in there.
Professionals
Professionals.
in waistcoats. Waistcoats are underrated.
They are indeed. So his entire lines of dialogue is what?
His chemistry with Cameron Diaz is excellent.
I was actually upset that he wasn't in the film again. Like at the end or something. Like wouldn't it be great if he was Annie's dad?
Yeah. Plot twist.
And she's like, Dad, and he's like, what? I'm clearly white. I don't remember dating a black woman. And he's just like,
You don't
yeah.
have to date, you just have to fuck.
Okay, but I think more sensual in this kid's film. Okay,
That's where
I
babies come
don't.
from.
I don't remember fucking a black chick, and then he like thinks into his head and he goes, "Oh, there was that one time that I found a glory hole." He just starts thinking about it.
He found
We've
a...
gone from a kids movie to this.
Wait,
Where
he
is
found
his
a...
movie
he
called
found-
what? You were saying, Bartek?
He found a glory hole. Like, was it being used or did he have to use it?
No, he had to. Do you know how glory holes work?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so I don't think you do. A glory hole is when there's a hole in like the bathroom door, right?
Yeah.
Or the wall. He's a guy. If he's having sex with a chick, I don't think she could stick her vagina through the glory hole. He has to stick his dick through into the vagina to get her pregnant.
Imagine
No,
the
I
first
was-
person that did that. Like the first person was like,
The
there's a
first
hole
person-
in the bottom
I'm gonna
wall.
stick my cock in there.
Let's just see what happens.
I'm asking if the glory hole was being used by another guy when he saw it.
No, I think he just saw it and just went, huh, well, a woman's got to be on the other side. Obviously.
Like, this is a men's bathroom. There must be a woman on the other side.
There's this urban legend story about glory holes. Oh, like, there's many urban legend stories, but there's this one where, like, this gay young man was in there and a cock went through the glory hole and he, like, sucked it off and then he walked out and the guy was his dad. And the good story about that is, who let that one out? Like, who let that story out of the bag? Like, honey, did you see Dad today? Yes. It's just like, just tells everyone. So, back to the film. Back to the film. Jamie Foxx is in this movie, and he was doing a lot back then.
Yeah, this was right after Django Unchained,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he was doing a fair bit. He was doing Django. He was in Horrible Bosses 2 as Motherfucker Jones or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw the first one. He was in that then.
Yeah, he was in the second one for the sequel. Now, as you guys can hear, I am sick. Just so in case I'm coughing to death or sneezing or dribbling, I watched Catch That Kid and I must have caught something afterwards. I swear, like after watching that movie, I'm sick.
You've been sick since Catch That?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, Jamie Foxx is about to feed hobos.
Bums,
Bums is the appropriate term, Madison, but he keeps calling them hobos. I like there is okay. Some people did not like this movie, and that's understandable. People like Annie, the original, and some people just don't like musicals. Some people don't like this. But you can't accuse a film of laziness, because there's a bit later on in which Annie says to him, "You've got to stop spitting out your food. You're not a camel," which is a great tie back to this incident that's about to happen, in which he spits food at a homeless person. I just love the fact that
A few
he's-
times, actually. Not once.
Also, who's like never had mashed potatoes?
Yeah, I don't know, some freaks. You know Andrew Garfield, the actor who played Spider-Man in Amazing Spider-Man. He hates mashed potatoes.
Well, that like he just
But he's disappointed about it. Like, he's like, I can eat every other kind of potato except for mashed. And you see the, like, sadness in his eyes. As you can see the sadness in everyone's eyes with Jamie Foxx. This must have been a fun day on set. Because you know how in films, when you're acting, you have to do a scene again and again.
Yeah.
He has to do that again and again. As does he have to put hand sanitizer on his hand.
well, you gotta love Purell.
Yeah. So, a lot of high caliber actors in this one, hey guys?
So many cameos.
There are many cameos, and you know, even the main cast is pretty well known. Even Annie is an unknown. She's been in quite a bit of things. She was in some really big movie just before this. Originally, this was gonna be Will Smith and his daughter
Yeah.
Willow Smith.
I wonder what happened there.
Now, in the trivia, Bartek,
I read that.
in the trivia, this is the time in which it should have been like, who is going to play Bill Stacks? Was it A, Jamie Foxx? No, who was going to play A, Will Smith? Or B, Seth Green? And the answer should have been Seth Green. Oh my god. So, originally it was going to be Will Smith and Willow Smith when she had a music career. Remember when Willow Smith actually was important? She used to whip her hair back and forth.
Yes, she did.
And I don't know what she does now. I guess she's living in Jaden's shadow. Jaden.
She
the
cut
most
her- she cut her hair
useless...
short.
Ah, Jaden, the most useless thing ever.
But the point is that she was a little too old to play Annie.
I reckon she still should have done it. Like, look at this woman. She's clearly like in her late 20s, early 30s, and she's clearly playing like a 60-year-old woman. Like, I don't know, her attitude is just... You know, I guess when you're playing Russian women, there are no such thing as young Russian women unless they're like sleazy prostitutes. So she's got to play old Russian woman, you know, like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, look at her. Now, you know, she was in the film. She was also having a good career at this time. She was in the film Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh.
She was like the only female character that wasn't a slut. Basically, she was like the one in the office, like the housewife turned like mogul who's like an absolute bitch, but she wasn't a slut. Like, she's one of the few female characters. And here she is in Annie. What a step up. She went from Oscar-winning Wolf of Wall Street to Annie. The best film ever made. Yeah, I didn't like Wolf of Wall Street that much. It didn't have enough musical numbers like Annie.
Well, yeah, this movie also had some Oscar nominees in it, like
Jamie Foxx,
like Annie and Jamie Foxx and stuff like that.
That's Cameron Diaz. Has she been nominated? I'm pretty sure she would have been nominated for Shrek 2.
She should have been. She should have been nominated for this movie.
Oh, this is in fact Cameron Diaz's last movie as of this current date.
She did win some award. I think she won an award for this movie.
A Razzie? Or...
I think it was a Golden Raspberry, but she was also nominated for like a Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award.
Yeah. So
2 of them actually.
This is Cameron Diaz's last movie as of this current date in 2016. This was 2 years ago, which, isn't that long in normal people time, but in film acting time, that's a long time to be gone. And she was doing heaps of movies. At this time, she was doing like The Other Woman and The Counselor and on it goes, back to like Bad Teacher, which will be done on this show hopefully one day. And because that is a great movie.
I've heard good things about it.
Oh, yes, it's amazing. It's got everyone in it. It's got Cameron Diaz. I mean, what else do you do? So, as we're talking about Cameron Diaz having departed from film acting for the moment being, The Sun has come out tomorrow. Whilst we've been talking, this is, of course, the new rendition of probably the most iconic song.
This guy's throwing up a child, throwing up and down.
And then...
It's
a bucket.
It was a bucket. Okay. I didn't know what that was happening because I didn't see the part with the kid in the mirror. I didn't connect it. I just saw him throwing a bucket. I'm like, why is he doing that? Like, what's his job requirement?
He's like the world's worst workman. Just
So
throwing a bucket
is
up
it
and
like-
down.
It's not spilling though.
That's true.
Is it like in the reflections of things the world is better? But
No, she's imagining a bunch of people with children, and she's a foster kid, and she wants to be a kid to
Mom
someone.
and Dad.
So, Bill Stax is everywhere in this movie. Like, not the character, but his brand, Stax. And do you remember what the slogan is?
Yes, never dropped a call.
Yeah, no, but his political slogan is...
Never drop a citizen?
Never drop a citizen.
Never
and it's...
drop a person.
Never
Drop a baby.
Do not ever overeat. This... And of course, this is about a girl who has been dropped. Isn't that emotional? Bartek? Do you feel the emotions?
Yeah.
Of course, the character in the original Annie is not called Bill Stax.
Yeah, he's something Bucks.
Daddy Warbucks.
Daddy Warbucks?
Yeah, that's what they call him. I can't remember his first name, but he's commonly known as Daddy Warbucks.
You ready? He's my favorite character, guys.
The dog.
Yes.
Is he because he's the bullies? The bullies that we never see again.
They have infinite cans to throw.
They're the only boys. Only young boys.
Yeah, that's correct.
Weren't there
Probably.
any in the school?
Oh, fuck the school.
The school only appeared in
School
one
was so
scene.
long ago.
I'm more interested about this Watt guy and his glory holes, damn it, than kids in school.
Oh, the driver. He's
Oh,
another
wait,
great
can we
character.
talk about this? The guy was just like, oh, the car's broken down, quick, leaf fight, and just throws a branch at Jamie Foxx. What was that supposed to be?
Well, he fired him, didn't he? Like a few seconds before?
No, he fired the driver.
Oh, the driver.
Who stays on for the rest of the
he
movie.
Yeah, who
he
was
just
just
never
like-
leaves.
he's like,
Guy
No.
explained why he did the thing. It was like Leaf Fight. It's whimsical. People will like him. If he
But
does
it's still
whimsical things.
stupid. I
It's
love
very
it.
stupid. But that's why he was your favorite character. for a
Bartek,
while.
leaf fight. And just like, literally, do you guys know that we have leaves?
Rustle some leaves at the microphone so they think we're doing it.
I'll put in a sound effect later.
How many cans do they have?
14 between them. So 7 each. This dog is just upset. And Jamie Foxx is so cool that he pops the collar. He's the one responsible for this. Like, he's like, I saved you. Like, want me to bring that truck back?
He doesn't-
You're the one who pushed her into the truck.
He doesn't.
Mister?
He doesn't
See ya.
show off that he saved her or anything.
No, but he then does take advantage of it. Do you think Jamie Foxx is a good man in this movie? Not just like, is he a good man in general? Because I imagine he is. He seems like a nice guy. He's nice white teeth.
He becomes a.
Trust somebody with white teeth.
I wouldn't call him a horrible man. It's just that the people that he surrounds himself with, aka Guy, makes him do things with questionable motives.
He is a cold hard businessman, though.
He is, but he mentions that he is that way because it's his metaphorical attempt to find the memory of his father or something like that.
Yes, he avoids 96th Street at all costs because that's where he grew up. I thought it was going to be like, oh, I killed someone there. Because I was in Django. Remember that? I like Jamie Foxx. I've liked him since the movie Collateral with Tom Cruise, in which he had to be a taxi driver.
Good celebrity cameo.
Oh my god, who was that celebrity? I missed it. They burnt their hands. Oh no.
I forgot what her name is.
But I love this scene because he's so intense with his stress ball, and then Rose Byrne, Grace, the saving grace of the movie, comments that his eye vein is throbbing or something, and it's just like, thank you. I loved Guy because he was the most cartoony in the cartoon movie. Like,
without a doubt.
this movie is a cartoon, but he's like the only one. I feel like as an actor, his name's like, what is it, like Bobby Cannavale or something or other.
Something.
He's like the only one that's read the script and went, well, this is a cartoon. Am I the only one who sees this?
This is a kid's movie.
And everybody else is like, nah, this is like the color purple. Vein is bulging. But he was like the only one who, like, him and Cameron Diaz both read it as cartoons. And that's why I think they have a scene together.
Yes.
I haven't seen the original Annie's like mentioned, so I don't remember what his equivalent character is and what her equivalent character is in comparison to what this is. But I don't know, there's a scene later where they meet up and they plot together, and I have no idea why. But we'll get to that. Hannigan, Cameron Diaz, has a great moment here in which she's like, I want to talk about the girl in your care, and she just has a long extended
yeah, that was really long.
and it's going right now. Oh, it goes on for ages, and it's like the best thing ever. So, Bartek, tell us about your experience. Anything that you want to talk about? Any little questions or experience with this movie? Anything that really jumped out at you, or anything about what's happening right now?
Anything, Ryan?
Yes, we've already talked about glory holes, so yeah, you can go on about what you like. I mean, we can only go up from there. We can't go any further down.
Well, in a few seconds...
You're gonna go with something even worse, aren't you? Go on.
No, I'm not actually. In a few seconds, we're going to get prostitution references, aren't we? Or is that later? No, I'm sorry. I think that's later because Stax is in the scene. I'm sorry. I was wrong.
Yeah, she's also not dressed like a prostitute, so...
Yeah.
So, you like the fact that Cameron Diaz could be... Oh, we haven't even talked about the shopkeep owner guy. The man?
We briefly did, but yeah, let's talk about him some more.
Where he's in love with Cameron Diaz.
Yes.
And he sees the best in her. Like, he's like, you're a good woman.
Yeah, and I only noticed it while we were watching earlier, when we cut to Annie changing the tags on his bottles. He had a picture of Cameron Diaz.
Yes, he has
and
her...
the CNC Music Factory.
He has her thing. He's a big fan of her. It makes me wonder how long he's known her. You know what I mean? Like, how long has he known Cameron Diaz? Like, maybe that's a Romeo and Juliet story, you know? Like,
maybe there's a sequel.
Yeah, called, like, you know...
No Longer Annie.
No Longer Annie. It's called Diaz.
Yes.
There he is.
Oh, is this the scene? No.
This is Romeo and Juliet-ish as well.
Yeah.
Balcony. Down.
She's got a scowl on her face, just like Juliet.
He's like, I'm fun-loving, a little bit chubby, but
I got my pants on to dance. I've got the attitude of a 12-year-old, just like just like Romeo and Juliet.
Just like Romeo and Juliet.
She's looking after foster kids. Yeah, it's just like Romeo.
So many parallels.
A lot of things aren't going Cameron Diaz's way because earlier on, when Annie came home from her
Go on, sorry.
Poor Ryan. When she came home from her trip to the quote library, Cameron Diaz told her. Yeah, go to the library. She went to the Russian lady. When she came back, Cameron Diaz told her that she talked to what guy? And
what guy?
And apparently Annie's gonna get moved to a different home, but that doesn't happen or get brought up ever again because
never.
things don't go Cameron Diaz's
She was
way.
lying, I think.
Plot twist.
Well,
I think Cameron Diaz was lying because you could tell by the way Cameron Diaz, very, very talented actress. It's not just in the face with her, she's very, she's an incredibly attractive woman, but she has a very elastic face. Like, she kind of reminds me of like a very pretty, but like a female, if she did comedy more, a female equivalent of Jim Carrey. She has this very rubbery face going on, and we made jokes about plastic surgery earlier, but it doesn't matter. But like, she has like this very rubbery face. But when she delivered those lines, it was in the voice that it kind of felt like it was a deceit, a deception. It was just a bluff. Like, she doesn't have that control. Like, did you see the what guy? She wasn't gonna get him to do anything for her. He's just like, what? What? By the way, that what guy, I recommend looking up his stand-up. He's a good stand-up comedian. He's actually really funny. He has some good stuff on, like, Netflix and other stuff like that. He's really, like, he's a real good storyteller comedian, like, really sad storytelling comedian. Like, he has this one about, like, his girlfriend's boyfriend. Like, and it's not about him. But, yeah, I recommend that. But, look, if we can recommend anyone to do stand-up comedy, I think it's Jamie Foxx, because it felt like he was a stand-up comedian for a lot in this movie. Like, give him a microphone and a spotlight, and it's basically him being like, what's the deal with these foster kids? It's just like, he is willing to look after her for a period of time, and he's actually willing to just like abandon her after. I think that's pretty cold, Bartek.
Abandon her? You mean when the fake?
No. Like
coming?
this right here. He gets sprung on him that he should look after her. Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't want to do that. And then it's like, well, once this is over and you get elected, we can just put her back in the system. And he's like, yeah, good idea.
Well,
like Jamie Foxx is willing to let this girl be a chess piece.
Well, in his defense, she's fine with it too.
Yeah, because she just wants to live anywhere other than with fucking Cameron Diaz. I do not blame her.
She wants to eat lobster.
Yeah, she wants
Why would you feed a kid lobster if you're like, okay, we're gonna make lunch for a 10-year-old?
She
Lobster.
can't even read,
Lobster.
let alone eat lobster.
She's probably sitting there like, what is this thing?
Okay, that is look at these two men up against each other.
Oh, yeah, look.
Like she's playing with lobster.
I play with lobsters. If I have one, or if I have prawns, I put the prawn head on my finger and I make a puppet
and you make your own Annie.
I do. I play out the whole Annie.
So you're Ginger,
yes,
and you're an actress. Can you sing?
In the technical sense, yes.
Would you ever audition to be Annie? Even though you're like a full-grown woman now. But like I said, you look like you're 13. Come on.
With a bit of makeup, like...
yeah.
Wear a sports bra all the time. Like, I might pass as being, like, 13.
Yeah. If you really tried.
If I really tried.
Yeah. And Sia does the music for it, and you could be her new weird, that ballerina girl that Sia has in every film clip. The one.
Yes.
And the person that
And I could be Shia LaBeouf. And why was Shia LaBeouf not in this as Daddy Warbucks? I mean, Bill Stacks.
The person who plays Daddy Warbucks should be like 10 years old, just to contrast.
It should be that kid from the movie Room. He's like Daddy Warbucks and he's your dad. And Bartek can play the old Russian lady.
Perfect.
And I'll be Grace. No, Bartek.
Yeah?
In the first act, you'll be Grace. And then in
then
the
we
second
switch.
act, I'll be Grace.
No one will.
And we can all be the Russian lady. Okay, so the Russian lady here is very active in this scene. Bartek, I didn't get to hear before, sorry. Who was your favourite character?
Oh shit, yeah. You asked me that when the what guy came in, and I said that for a while I thought it would be him.
For that one scene he was in, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know, there are a lot of characters in this movie that I could say are like my favourites. So
yeah.
In a more... Because when we bring up our favourite characters, we tend to go for the, that one guy who did that one really silly thing in that one scene.
Guy.
Like to talk about Catch That Kid again, the man who really
was sensitive
worried about how loud the alarm was.
The background actor,
In a topic not like that, I really liked Jamie Foxx. Foxx's character.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx was really good in this. I felt like
His character transformation throughout the movie was very genuine.
yeah, I felt like my problem with Jamie Foxx, why I didn't put him as number one, was I felt like, as great as the movie is, I felt like Jamie Foxx was the actor who, you know, he hasn't got many songs in this movie, I feel. His songs are later on, but I feel like he's a great actor, Oscar nominated, you know, all this. I feel like he was the one actor out of his element with this. Like, everyone else kind of pegged it, even the ones who were more serious, like Rose Byrne and all that. I felt like he was the one who was still reading it like, I just came off a Tarantino movie. This is one going to be my daughter can see. And, you know, I felt like halfway through, I think the exact scene that he transformed into a great character in this movie for me was when Annie served him breakfast and it was burnt and he fed it to the dog. I felt from that point on, he really caught the character. Maybe even before when he was explaining why he has no friends. And she's like, you know, you're making a fist.
Well, yeah, even in this scene,
Emotional stuff.
His earlier part. You know, this song for the most part is Annie, Grace, and the Russian lady. But there is one bit where you see Jamie Foxx and Guy talking in the background.
And they look confused.
They're confused.
Wait, sorry. Russian lady's trying to get some. Sorry,
yeah,
go on.
She's a kleptomaniac. She's stealing things in this scene. Yeah, you see him and Guy in the background. Like, they're not being energetic, they're talking, they're confused, and it really shows the contrast between, I guess, bring it up again, the world of the musical and the world of the plot. Jamie Foxx, as the movie goes on, gets more into the livelier world of the musical.
Yeah. Oh, there she goes. And that was really her, too.
Was it?
Didn't you see it?
That one-handed cartwheel?
Yeah, that was her. That was the actress. Couldn't you tell?
It wasn't Annie.
Was it
Annie is wearing these grey leggings throughout the entire film. Like, pretty much the entire movie, she's wearing these grey leggings. Madison, do you have a favourite pair of grey leggings that you wear all the time?
I tend to stay away from grey leggings, but
Why? Is grey not a matching colour with red?
Yeah.
Like, is it just... How appropriate.
How cool is this pool, though?
It is amazing.
She also swam in her grey leggings.
It makes me think, and she can't swim, remember? She is about to drown. It
reminds me
of the TV show Mark Loves Sharon, which was the TV show about from the sketch show The Wedge. And it was about like the sports guy, and he had a pool that was also the exact same in it. And it just makes me think, this film must have watched an Australian comedy show that lasted one season in 2008. They must have, I'm telling you.
They're like, this is gold. We must use this as inspiration.
They were writing it down. You know the funniest thing, I'm going to be honest, this is going to be a little dip into the waters of the unknown here, but I did not think about the fact that Madison has red hair and that we were going to do Annie for this episode. I was just like, I didn't think about how the irony of it all. I just thought, Annie's a great movie. We got to get Madison up for this one. But I didn't think, Annie connects.
I know, because Annie is like one of the few like musicals that actually has like a main lead redheaded character.
Oh, yeah, it must be.
We always play the villains.
Villains, or those who get burnt easily.
Yeah.
That's just a scientific fact.
Everyday reality.
I love that this movie has the weirdest sense of humor that we've done on the show. You know how Bartek, you and I on this show with many guests, we'll discuss like possible flippant comments that could be made like for situations. This movie makes those for real. Like, there's a bit later on, I know, I can't wait, but Jamie Foxx is just like, like, I can't wait to get you out of here. Finally, the TV screens will be back to going to stars. I mean, look at this. What is this? This is a dog and a deer in a swamp. What's that about? And I'm just like, that's the kind of thing.
Here's the prostitution.
Yeah, and she really... and Jamie Foxx's instant reaction, the guy who's soon to be mayor, eyes on him all the time, is to squirt liquids at her.
What?
Well, his first reaction is to be...
Inside of the glass.
Yeah, get out.
Yeah, his first reaction is to be really politically correct, I guess.
He has like a line of Ferrero Rochers there, what I heard. Like,
I would get in any car that had a line of Ferrero Rochers.
I would do anything for Ferrero Rochers.
I was-
Gobbies for Ferrero Rochers.
Look, maybe.
Look. Now, sometimes, Madison, people from other countries other than Australia listen to the show. So, gobby is a colloquial term for blowjob.
Link it to a glory hole.
You could link it to a glory hole. I'm not saying that if you gave me a Ferrero Rocher and a glory hole, I'll give some gobbies real quick. But anything for a Ferrero. Just anything. This guy, the driver,
Yeah.
I
he's
know
cool.
him as an actor. I can't think what he's in, but he's always... I think of him as someone who's intimidating, like someone scary, like someone that you wouldn't want to mess with. But then he's in this movie where you just want to mess with everyone. And then this, he's just
Hey,
like,
girl.
yeah, but I love. He's just like, who's she or whatever, and he's just like, what? It's clearly a man. You know what I mean? Here's something he commented on, like, you know, cell phones tracking you, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
He's not.
Later
He is
on,
not wrong.
later on, they prove that this guy is absolutely correct, and it's like he's not the big government you should be worrying about. It's cell phone companies.
Yep.
So, this movie raises a lot of questions, doesn't it, guys?
It does.
One question that I never thought I'd ask myself was, is Jamie Foxx bald? Because there's a scene later on in which Jamie Foxx is revealed to be bald.
I gotta
Yeah.
say, when I watched it, I had to rewind it and watch it again, just that little bit.
I did too.
Yeah.
And it scared me. But here's the thing. You know why he's bald?
It's a reference to the original
Daddy
his
Warbucks.
character,
Daddy
yeah.
Warbucks is bald. But here's the thing, look. Again, this is, I think, why Jamie Foxx... I love the fact that he's your favourite, but here's why I didn't put him in my top. Jamie Foxx's hair does not work for this bald illusion.
Yeah, it doesn't-
unless it was
yeah.
spray-on hair. Like, if it was spray-on, that would make sense. Like, if you saw him with a sponge and he was wiping off his hair, that would make sense. But it was like a wig.
Toupee.
It's a toupee wig
Yeah.
thing.
It's like the thinnest toupee that they've
Ever.
ever made.
And now, you know what this movie has made me done? I could not stop looking at Jamie Foxx's hair. And the weirdest thing is, his hair's always like this in a lot of movies and shows. This is just his hairstyle. But I've never noticed really before. I've just never taken it... I've always taken it for granted. But you guys look at Jamie Foxx's hairline. It is the most absurd...
It's very far back. And
It's like the
square.
top of it, like the actual scalp part, like the top is just really high up in comparison to where his widow peak hairline is, where it comes in. It's like a Lego man. You know those Lego men and you put like a
yes.
little hair thing? That's what his hair is like. And I've never noticed that because I respect Jamie Foxx too much to mock his hair. But now this film has brought it into question.
It has. Maybe it is fake.
Shit. We found a Hollywood conspiracy here, right next to all the other Hollywood conspiracies. Put this one up there with why did Scooby-Doo 2 get canned? This. Jamie Foxx's hair. Maybe the dog stole it.
Maybe when he was born, like, genetic scientists were, like, altering in the womb his DNA to be like, let's make it so that he is bald, so that when he does Annie, he can have
got, like,
something in common with
alopecia.
Warbucks.
Yeah, here's something. This movie has a lot, but that was something that really creeped me out. Because if we look at it again, since we looked at it back, we got to notice it more. But his head looks incredibly weird, because Jamie Foxx is obviously not bald, so they put makeup over his hair,
Yeah.
and it looks weird. Like, he
It
looks
does
like
look
he's got a
weird.
bigger head than what Jamie Foxx actually does have, which is a fairly normal-sized head. I think Jamie Foxx... If he went bald, I reckon he would look good bald. I reckon he has a good shaped head for being bald.
Well, he is bald in that one scene. So
Yeah,
we
but
can
they've
judge
used
there.
makeup over his hairline, so it looks weird. It's like, you know, the Avengers.
I've seen the first one.
The Avengers, Chris Evans is at the end. Spoiler. They're at the place, Schwava or whatever, and Captain America has his hand over his face. It's because Chris Evans, the actor, had a beard for another movie, so they just put makeup over his beard and just said, "Oh, that looks shit," and just made him go put his hand over his beard and kind of CGI'd it a little. So that's why Captain America is eating with his hand over his face. this movie could have used some hand over head action.
It definitely could.
That sounds sexual for some reason. I don't know why. Some hand over head action. Give me some gobbies.
The Polish equivalent, there is a slang for blowjobs. The Polish word for ice cream is loda, and sometimes people could say dawaj loda, which means give me ice cream, but it's like slang for give me a blowjob.
Give me ice cream.
I'm gonna be in trouble if I go there.
Who gave that as a current slang in Poland? Like, maybe there was one innocent kid who's like, give me ice cream, and somebody else is like, what, blowjob? And they're like, what? That's not that doesn't mean that. And they're like, fair, yes, it does.
When I say dawaj ice cream, it's kind of like a demanding kind of, it's not like something you would casually or
I never ask for ice cream in a non-demanding way. I always ask for it in a demanding way. Like,
oh, Ryan, you're gonna get arrested for sexual harassment.
Give me ice cream. Give me ice cream now. So, this movie really is a touching little gem of a film. How do you guys feel about a black rendition of Annie, like casted with many people of color? How do you feel about that, though?
Well, again,
or how did you feel before watching it, and how do you feel after watching it?
Well, again, I haven't seen any other rendition of Annie other
but
than
you know
this.
of Annie.
Yeah, but to be fair, and I told you this before we started recording, when you told me we were doing Annie, I didn't read up on it.
Oh, yeah,
I mixed it up with something else that also had a woman's first name as the title. I thought
Fatty.
It was...
That's a different movie. Go on.
What'd she say?
Fatty.
No, but it rhymes with that.
That's the adult version of Annie. Something will come out tomorrow.
Go on. I was thinking of Carrie.
Carrie, the Stephen King horror movie Carrie, where she has psychic powers, and it's like the guy rejects her dance at the prom, so she like kills everybody with her mind.
Whoa.
Yes.
He was waiting for that movie to come out.
Yes.
He's like, when are people gonna die? He's just watching it.
What part tipped you off that it wasn't it?
Yeah, so I was watching the movie and being like, oh, this has musical elements in it. I was it's very whimsical, but I mean, when's the murder thing gonna come in?
Moonlight.
And then it was during when she was singing, the sun will come out tomorrow scene with the bucket guy and all that.
And you're like,
and I was like, wait a second, that's Carrie. This is Annie. Oh, I don't know what Annie's about.
It's easy to get Carrie and Annie confused. Both of them have very similar plots. One's an orphan girl. The other is a girl raised by a single mum. One is about her getting adopted by a powerful billionaire for political gain. The other is about a disturbed young woman with psychic powers. I practically explained the same
movie. But again, neither of which I'm familiar with.
Exactly. So this is the fake movie within this movie. What is it? Moonquake Lake or something or other?
Moonquake Lake.
And this movie is their version of Twilight in this universe, and it is starring Mila Kunis.
Who's that supposed to be?
And Ashton Kutcher.
Is it supposed to be like what is the two characters? Edward and
Edward and Bella. And it's like if Edward and Bella was cast with Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, who at this time they got back together, blah blah blah.
They're married and
expecting kids or whatever. But then, who's the villain of the movie? It's her queen herself. The one woman, this was before her time in which she was just naked all the time. Remember that time where Rihanna wasn't just naked all the time, but now she's just naked all the time, which I'm not minding. I've always thought Rihanna was a weird mermaid lizard creature, but now this movie confirms it.
When I saw this, it made me think of what's that movie that came out like a while ago, and they're all like the blue
Avatar?
Yes.
I often think of Avatar when I think of blue people.
I think of blue. See that was
Ryan, that makes sense. Though.
That or my victims, Whoops.
Or the music video for Blue. I'm blue.
I like how he's gotten into the movie. I also got into the movie when it said she's a fish and he's a boy. That is some writing only dreams are made out of, and he loves it, and he's just like, sit down, and it's just like there's going to be 4 more of them. Obviously, this is a reference to the kind of filmmaking now, where there can't just be one film. It has to be one film broken up into 2 parts. It has to be a series of movies. And talking about series of movies, when is there going to be Annie the trilogy? Huh?
I think it was implying that Moonquake Lake is like this universe's Twilight.
Yeah.
There are multiple books, so there would be multiple movies.
So, when I watch YouTube, I watch a lot of movie critics and theory stuff, lots of movie stuff, and a lot of critics were very harsh on this, ones that I respect, but one of them did bring up something, which is montage. You know what montages are, right, Madison?
Yeah.
Everyone knows what montage is. This film doesn't have very many. They're more filled up with musical numbers, which are different to montages, I would say. But this becomes a little bit of a montage, and one of the critics was like, there's this scene in which Jamie Foxx is skating on ice, which is this scene because they're skating on ice, and he just does stuff that no one in real life would ever do, but in a montage it's acceptable. Like, look, he just pours all this stuff over him. Nobody would do this in real life.
But everybody wants real life to be like this.
Yeah.
Like if you just walk into a candy store and just pour candy over yourself and not get in trouble.
And like, I did not realize this was ice for quite a while.
Well, you should have, Ryan, because this is a callback.
Yeah, the girl had a dream. It was foreshadowing, like you mentioned. Yeah. Yeah, and I love how he wasn't here for the movie, so he's no context, and he turns around and he just sees this weird looking woman, and he's like, what? He's like, what?
She's just getting like bubbled.
And he's like, what is that? He is the realist in this movie as well. Him and Pepper should have their own movie in which he adopts Pepper. And it's just like sugar and spice, you know? It's just like about these 2 people who are realists in this horrible world of musicals.
This must be the safest neighborhood too, because they just like go up and down the fire escape.
Yeah,
all the
and they
time.
borrow that guy's bucket every day.
Every day.
Every day they borrow his bucket.
They should just buy a new one.
They should just get their own, lazy bastards.
Well, to be fair, he does like Miss Hannigan, so he's fine with them.
Yeah, but she's a cow.
She is.
She is an attractive cow, not in this movie, but in general. Rose Byrne just sits with her, and this is a whole routine that the little girl goes through for 4 years.
Every Friday.
Every Friday for 4 years. But what happens if they come on a Saturday?
That's true.
Jeez. She's assuming that they're going to come back because of this one meal. Also, why do they only serve that one meal, like, on a Friday? Like, what, they never changed in the 4 years? Like, I'm pretty sure restaurants change, like, their servings and
Her
stuff.
parents are going to come back and be like, I think I left something here, like, maybe 7 years ago.
Yeah,
is
it was
still
like,
here?
about this big, black.
It is silly, but to be fair, when she started, she was probably, 6, 8 years old? And that's all she had to go on.
Yeah.
So you can't
and
really blame her.
She can't read.
And she can't read.
She can only go so far.
That's a spoiler, but yeah.
I think we already mentioned it when I said earlier that she can't read.
I mentioned it.
So does that mean she must have just memorized the note and...
Yeah, that's why she wasn't looking at it.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to read. She's dumb. I'm kidding. Just because you don't know
Dumb
how
is
to
when
read
you can't
doesn't
speak,
mean...
Ryan.
So Cameron Diaz is about to have a wicked musical
This
number.
is your favourite number.
It's everyone's favourite number.
Who, like... It's...
She sees little girls everywhere, and she... Look, I did not know before this movie that Cameron Diaz can sing, and now I know that she can try.
Did she sing in Shrek?
Oh, that's a good point.
She had that thing.
But I don't think
with
that
the
would have been
bird
her. I don't think that
bird.
would have
I
been
don't know
her.
if
I
it
don't
was
think
her,
that would have
that's
been her.
the thing.
See, Shrek 2, she might have had a musical number. I can't remember.
I love...
Oh, the end of the Shrek movies, they all sing different
Yes,
songs.
Far, Far Away Idol.
I remember that.
I love the irony, though, that her character can sing really well.
But she cannot.
Yeah.
Maybe because she hasn't sung in like 20 years.
Well,
Because it was the early 90s.
But Annie... Wait, are we talking about Cameron Diaz or her character?
Cameron Diaz's character.
But Annie says that she's got a good singing voice, and that's what makes her good.
Yeah, because she's like realizes, Annie actually does like me. Like these girls actually do like elements about me, believe it or not. Because she believes that nobody likes her, the world is against her. you know,
She sees their sarcasm, yeah.
but she at least sees the negative attributes of the society. Like, she got fired, her dream didn't come true, there's been no, Prince Charming to sweep her off her feet, to take her away. Nothing's worked out in her favor when everything was about to work out in her favor. So she's a cold-hearted woman about the world, but then when she actually sees someone's being genuine about her, which is Annie, the person that she despised the most, she's like, wow. And then she realizes the people around her actually do like her, like the shop owner guy. I do like at the end that her and him don't get together per se. We don't know, but we know, we get a feeling like they could work towards a wholesome, beautiful relationship in time. But it's not like at the end they kiss and they're in love.
Yeah. And
Lou. Old Louis Romeo. Romeo. I always think of, when I think of Romeo and Juliet, I think of Hot Fuzz and their version of Romeo and Juliet, where she, like, comes back up as an angel with wings and they start singing. And, like, I think of the drunk English guy, and he walks up, he's like, Romeo, oh, Romeo. And he, like, does this, like, a little speech. No, this whole sequence is amazing. I don't know what he's thinking. Like, the church bell thing, right? You get me. Church bell thing. This whole movie has sequences in which people talk nonsense. And isn't that good, Madison?
That is, I like it.
Some films talk sense, like... This film came out at a very pivotal time of movies. 2014 was a great year. You had like movies like Whiplash, Birdman, Nightcrawler, around that period of time. But we don't need a thinking person's movie. We need a feeling person's movie. And this movie made me feel a lot of things. Thank you. This movie made me feel the Parkinson's of Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Here he is, the legend. He Back to the Future, this whole thing. I love it. It's like Michael J. Fox. It's over. I'm finished. Fox endorses him, then I'll vote for him. Like, literally, did I know that Michael J. Fox as an endorsement would be like the sinking thing for another campaign leader?
Hey, Ryan, do you think that Michael J. Fox is brothers with Jamie Foxx?
Oh my god! And he was and could you? Oh wait, no, he was the other choice for Bill Stacks, and they accidentally got the paperwork wrong, and then they cast Jamie Foxx and like, shit, dog, we can't have a black guy adopt a white girl. Let's make Annie black.
That's true.
It is true. I'm very true.
You're
Like,
honest and real.
But how did you feel, Madison, about this being? How did you feel before and after about this being a black rendition of Annie?
Look, I felt like there wasn't enough gingers in it for me personally.
Annie's got slightly ginger hair.
Slightly ginger.
The first character we see is named Annie, and she's got ginger hair.
I know.
One character.
And then we never see her again.
So, sorry.
What happened to Ginger
Madison's
Annie?
thing is, look, Ryan, I don't give a shit about race. I'm more concerned that the gingers weren't represented. Who cares about... It doesn't matter if you're black or white. It matters if you're ginger or not.
Exactly, like 1% of the population. Like, if you want to make a movie about minorities, guys...
Minority Report starring gingers.
Make it about gingers.
Ginger Tom Cruise.
The color orange. And it just stars like every redhead in Hollywood.
That's why I like the dog, because it's kind of ginger. I connect with it.
Shiba Inu
You
dog?
connect to the dog because
connect
it's
to the
slightly ginger.
It also just likes food, and that's me as well.
You like food?
I do.
So I watched this with my girlfriend, and it was an emotional experience. I think it's a really great film to watch with other people, especially those that you're connected to, like family or a loved one, a relation, maybe with friends. I don't think this is a great movie to watch with friends of your own age, especially if they're not into quality films. Like, I'm not saying being into a Marvel movie isn't quality, but this is higher quality.
Friends who you can have an emotional connection with.
Yeah, at least certain friends. Who did you watch this by yourself, Bartek? Do you usually watch these movies by yourself, or do you watch them with your family?
I watch them I think, yeah, for every movie we've done for the show, I've watched by myself.
You've got to watch it with others because it really enriches the experience.
Yesterday I watched it a bit late because I went out for Mother's Day, so...
Oh, yeah, this is the old Mother's Day
This
gift
is a good Mother's Day movie.
she doesn't have a mum.
Just have a mum.
Yeah, but while I was watching with...
The Annie.
While I was watching this movie, my brother and mum were, like, playing, like, ad-lib stuff on the internet and they were kissing themselves laughing.
Your family sounds like a whimsical cartoon land that I will never understand. They were playing internet
really.
ad lib.
No. Like, my brother...
And then they went to the cobblers to get their shoes repaired whilst getting some toffee from the toffee shop. You know what I mean? Or speaking Polish. I mean,
Gee whiz, Ryan. Stop it.
Gee whiz. Gee whiz, Ryan. Leave my family outings alone. Boy, you two willigers. You come from the time Annie was originally set.
What, the Great Depression?
You give me Great Depression. What about you, Madison? Did you watch it by yourself? Or with anyone special?
With anyone special. I watched with my boyfriend, actually.
Hear that, guy? She has a boyfriend. Oh, sigh. Oh.
Gee whiz.
Except for Madison's boyfriend, who obviously will be listening to this, I hope. Because if you had to watch Annie, you would definitely want to hear what others had to say about it.
You definitely want to watch it again with me talking about it again.
Yeah, pretty much. So how did that go? How did he feel about this movie? Was he sensitive, insensitive?
Like he quite likes musicals.
Does he?
He quite likes musicals. So it was a good mutual experience, I think.
It made you close. How long have
together.
you guys been together?
Not very, like 4 months or something.
4 months.
I know.
Jeez, this has made you bond as much as a couple that's been together for 2 years.
Exactly.
So he can thank you for that. This is a real, like, my anniversary is coming up and we've been together for nearly 4 years, my girlfriend and I, and this movie has made us feel like, wow, we can survive another 4 years.
Yeah, you're like, I could do this.
Yeah, you know, if they can make Black Annie, I can do anything, you know? Like,
It actually, like...
take on the world.
It prompted a conversation because we talked about, we're like, oh, well, like, would you ever, like, adopt kids? Like,
yeah, would he?
He would. We both had a bit of a chat about that, which was nice.
Was it like a mutual good chat, or was it like or was it like a breakup relationship one where it's like, let's adopt kids now, Madison, and you're like, I'm not ready for kids.
I was like, if I don't have a black child called Annie, like...
Who's a ginger?
Who's also a little bit ginger, life is just not worth living, guys.
So Ryan, your girlfriend earlier said to us, you and me, that she's sort of familiar with the other Annies. Did she have any specific comments?
Yeah, I was not familiar. I only know like the generalist thing of Annie. And when watching this, I kind of forgot about the general things. Like I kind of forgot about redhead little orphan girl Annie and the red dress until like this film reminds you. But then I forgot until the film reminds you that there's the plot line of the fake parents and all that. And then I'm like, holy shit, and that she can't read and all this kind of stuff. And I had to often ask her, is this character in here? Who are they in comparison to this? Why are these two characters together? It doesn't make sense in this movie, but is it making sense in general context of things? And I feel like, you know, with movies like this, remakes or reimaginings and true stories and documentaries, all this, things that don't make sense, you can you can pardon them because they make sense somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. No, that's a different musical. Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
We haven't mentioned that...
Annie's black? Yes, we have.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Are you ready for a playing montage?
I love my montages. This is no Bend It. This is
dog.
no Bend It Like Beckham. That had like 24 montages.
I was gonna say we haven't mentioned that it's actually this whole thing's actually based originally on a comic strip. Little Orphan Annie.
Little Orphan Annie.
Oh wait, guys, you ready?
Oh, you're seeing.
There it is. He looks weird. He looks look at that head. That doesn't look like Jamie Foxx's
But
shaped head.
like anybody that has like a mannequin head next to the bathroom, you'd be like, what do you use that for?
Voodoo, obviously.
I mean, put my wig
No,
on it.
that really reminded me of, and okay, I'll tell you. There was this
You have a
picture-
wig?
A picture I once found of Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, he's a bald black man.
That is correct. He's bald and black.
Yeah, it was a picture of
Fact check.
his head, but like the top half was edited to be like a Cadbury cream egg that's had a bite taken out of it. So it's Samuel L. Jackson with like this caramel out of a chunk of his head missing.
Her boobs are on point in this dress, I must add, and so does Jamie when he says, "You look good," and so do you, and then he
And
proceeds to find out, he found out that it's a grandmother's dress.
He's like, eye contact, eye contact, eye
And,
contact.
well, it was a grandmother's dress, and he goes, "Your grandma was hot," and then he's like, "Oh, like, the dress would make her look hot." He is now adjusting his hair because he's bald. Like, there's lots of things
Don't tell
going
them.
Don't.
He doesn't want people to know.
It's never found out at the end either by anyone else.
Yeah, it never comes up again.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just
comes
a
up again.
reference.
It's a reference. Now her boobs don't look on point as much. Like, you could tell it's a different shoot,
Ryan,
different day.
let's not talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Annie's
that's true.
boobs.
What happened to the push-up bra guys?
What happened to the boob guys? That's
This
my
is where he
desti-
this is where he comments on the D.
do your dog thing. It's like, you know what, get out of here. It's like, yeah, fine. You stop being my house. It's like, get out. It's like, fine. You know what? You're changing everything. As a matter of fact, this used to be Basquiat. All of a sudden, now it's just a dog and a deer and a meadow. What is that combination? So
I found that really funny.
I love how he says, "What is that combination? So cute." But he says it like as a question too. Like, it's all one statement. Usually it's like, "What is that combination? So cute." And then but he's like, "What is that combination? So cute." Like, there's no pause. There's no
doesn't he
break.
say why is that combination so cute?
No, it's like, "What is that combination? So cute." Either way.
It says what instead of why?
Yeah.
Okay, I heard
very
there's why.
tough. I'm making the comparison now because I've said it too many times.
Is
back.
this what the kids call head canon, Ryan?
I don't know. I'm not a kid.
Is this the first movie we've done that's had YouTube in it?
I don't know, but this is the first movie we've done where it is a musical that's already based on a classic one with black people doing it instead. Next black people musical, guys? What do you think? What's the next musical that should be done with black people?
Let's
go.
I don't know.
Hairspray, the one that's about racial intolerance anyway.
It's just
black
all
people in
black
it?
people.
There are black people, but it's all about like the 50s, 60s. Oh, Bartek, you're good at musicals. What about you, Madison? You know musicals, obviously.
Dolomite.
Go on.
Look, the run with the orphan theme. Let's just do Oliver.
Oliver, you want some more? And then like the guy's just like more, and he just does it like in this. Or no, he does it in this like rapper way where it's like iced tea. Yeah, iced tea, and he's like, "What more?" and then
Breaks into rap.
we're in rap. What more? And Snoop Dogg's there. So I would love to see a black rendition of the HMS Pinafore. Just like, he is an Englishman. He's black. And it's Idris Elba. And he's like, I am an Englishman, because he's English. So that's not racist. Oh, and this is the embarrassing part in which nobody told her that she was going to get
Why
up
would
and
you
have
not-
to do a speech. Why would you not tell the orphan girl, the
Like,
little girl?
yeah,
Because it was all
by the
Gus, wasn't it?
way.
I mean, Guy.
Guy is a guy to...
Because he's really very funny when he tells her to read off the teleprompter. Because he runs on stage really manically and says, read
He's
the
like, stop
teleprompter."
singing!
Yeah,
Read what I wrote!
that was a great impersonation by Maddie. I've not heard such a good impersonation since Bartek does Orson Welles. Have you heard Bartek's Orson Welles?
No!
Bartek, can you do your Orson Welles? Like, read a line from
I
this?
can only do it when someone brings up an Orson Welles reference.
Okay, so this movie's like the black people's Citizen Kane.
You know what? Orson Welles actually had a quote about this movie.
Yeah, what?
He'd seen the original '82 version and
Yeah.
thought, okay. But when he saw this version,
When he was dead.
he... What?
Go on. Sorry, go on.
I don't think he's dead yet, Ryan.
Okay.
He looked at this movie and he said, Black Annie, I should have made this.
Everyone wishes they
That's
made
his
this.
Orson Welles impersonation, everyone. I love it. It gets me a tear in my It's like the best. So yeah, she's
What's so funny? It's a good impression.
it's like it's spot on as Madison's impersonation of Guy. What was your impersonation of Guy again? It was like, get up there.
Stop singing.
Stop singing. Well, I do an impersonation of the great actor Paul Giamatti from such films as Saving Private Ryan and Big Fat Liar, which is
NWA.
Man, I'm Paul Giamatti. That's always my Paul Giamatti is him being the penguin for some reason. Man,
The penguin?
the penguin. I'm still Paul Giamatti. Man, the penguin. Yes, man. So Jamie Foxx looks like he. There's some scenes in which Jamie Foxx looks really pissed off, like when he's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like he looks like
He's got like resting bitch face.
he's like I was in fucking Django. I was in Collateral. I got Oscar nominated,
He's
bitch.
like, why?
I can read.
I can read. You know what I love about this? Maybe this is my favorite musical sequence because I love it when like in instrumentals they just know what to play.
Yeah, they just know.
Like somebody just gets something.
Well,
I'm gonna sing
excuse
this
me.
random
The
song.
conductor's conducting them. Don't conductors conduct you how to play music?
You know, to bring up another... No, actually doesn't really count. I was going to bring up Purple Rain.
Purple Rain, Prince. That's fair. He did die recently. Go on.
Yeah, there was a part where, like, right near the end... You've seen Purple Rain, right?
Yeah, we've all seen Purple Rain.
Okay, yeah.
This is what it's like when doves cry. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's near the end where, you know, he finally lets the band play the song that the girl wrote.
Yeah.
And, like, they didn't know that he wanted them to play it until he was up on the microphone and said that that's the song that they were going to play. So it's suddenly like they have to shift their gears into, oh, okay, we got to play our song now. So...
I guess bands work like that. The only movie we've done on this show that actually does comment on what you're talking about, guys, is the film Band Slam, where at the end they're like, we've got to completely redo our song, and they take like 20 minutes to learn it. And, like they take 20 minutes to go, okay, blah blah blah, and they're like, let's do it, guys.
And the main character's big progression
Madison's
is...
just laughing because I know deep down you're just secretly doing your impersonation of him. It's like,
Stop singing.
Hold on a second. He's like, can I just be Jamie Foxx, where it's like, Annie, are you okay? I gotta just do white man Jamie Foxx.
He's like,
Annie.
why are you running away? Let me follow you. Where are you going?
a lot of black people with British accents.
Like Idris Elba.
Like Jeffrey from Fresh Prince.
That is true. Oh yeah, he's not singing. Like he's not singing. Like okay, and
He's
then
like, pretend this is.
and then he has Easy Street later on. He sings a lot, and it's him and Cameron Diaz.
Those cars magically stopped.
Well, it is a crossing.
Yeah, but she had a red hand.
A red hand.
Did
Good drivers.
Did
Good
the twist
drivers.
that she can't read catch you off guard? Were you expecting
Yeah,
it?
because I believe that she could when she was like had that note. I argued with my girlfriend about how stupid it was that she couldn't read because I'm like, but she read the note. It's like, no, she's memorized the note. I'm like, but
She goes to school.
But
How do you get through school?
Well, she said she's
look.
very good at hiding it.
I've graduated from university and I never had to read.
Welcome to drama.
Despite the insistence in Paradox of the Actor.
We, at doing drama, they're like, you could do the readings. I never did the readings, and I passed. I got it. I passed with distinction. Fuck you guys. I didn't need to read. Readings for chumps. Now stop singing. We broke it down to just impersonation. He looks like he's ready to have sex with the limo driver, though. He's just like, genius. He's like, genius. He should play James Bond. Could you imagine him as James Bond? You know, like, you know how they always want Idris Elba to play... Why is she just playing Twister?
Oh.
It's like yoga, but
Sexier. And kidsier.
more whimsical.
Whimsy yoga. Do you guys do whimsy yoga?
Look, I have to play Twister by myself. Just limber up, you know.
She has a boyfriend, guys. She's got to limber up somehow. Jeez.
I'm like, just wait for me. I just like roll out Twister.
Just wait for me. Just wait for me. I've got to limber up for the glory hole.
Like, only about 5 minutes, guys. Get the Ferrero Rochers out.
Gobbies. I love how she clearly sprays herself with what looks like a kind of Windex. Like I wrote down, like, is she cleaning herself off with Windex? I don't know what's happening. Like how she uses the same pickup lines here on him. Like she's like, that's my maiden name, but I'm not married to it, if you know what I mean. It's like, can I buy you another drink? Like he's so attuned. So the band's name is Leaping Lizards, which is of course a phrase from the comics and a phrase used in the movies. And 1982, Annie has a band called the Leaping Lizards. This is not that band. It would have been cool if they got that band. But yeah, the Leaping Lizards. This movie isn't lazy. You can't say that. Some critics say it's just a paint-by-numbers movie. But hey, Annie is a paint-by-numbers concept.
I totally have a little point here. He says Dark Horse.
Yeah.
And when I was watching with my boyfriend, he's like, did he just say Dark Horse? He's like, that's a bit racist.
Considering
He's like,
he
I've got to bet on
himself,
the Dark Horse. And he's like,
considering he himself is a person of color, yeah, it's really racist.
yeah, I was like,
oh, he's only like Italian though.
You know,
I guess he's only olive skinned, like he's not black.
You know, I just realized there's one line that we completely skipped over.
Is it that Jamie Foxx recurringly is repeated to be recurringly accused of being Batman?
No.
Because he gets recurringly accused of being Batman throughout this movie, and it makes you wonder what The Dark Knight with Jamie Foxx would have been like.
No, the thing that we skipped over is much more tasteful than that.
Go on.
It was when they named the dog.
What about it?
Just before the dog was named, Jamie Foxx described it as a hurricane.
Oh yeah.
He said,
and then they call
this
it
dog's like a hurricane.
And they call it
Literally the
Sandy.
next word is Sandy.
Let's call it Sandy, like Hurricane Sandy.
like, it's not like a lot of people harm
Not like
that.
not like the Sandy Hook massacres, guys. Don't call it that. Yet again, that would have happened around this time, so that's a bit awkward. That's maybe why this movie didn't do so well. A lot of the times we've got to ask ourselves, why did a movie not do well?
It was before its time.
This movie, no, you're wrong. This movie was after its time. This
it hadn't
movie
been long
should've-
enough.
This
It had
movie
Cameron Diaz
should
in
have
it.
come out in 2002 during the Munez era of filmmaking. This movie would have been better in 2002, not 2014. 2014 was a stellar year for cinema. It's one of my favorite years of film. I went to the theater a lot to see movies. It was just a great year. Kingsman, all these great movies were coming out at that time, and then this one comes out. It's such a 2000s movie for a non-2000s time. I think it was just dead on arrival. I think that's its problem, don't you, Bartek?
Yeah, sure, why not?
I mean, they were living on Easy Street, but then they found out Easy Street was the 2014 street, which was really hard. Hard like that
YOLO.
one guy's dick when he went to the glory hole. Bottom
cheese.
Bottom cheeks. Beautiful. So he casually just watches her in her sleep.
Like mum and dad.
Oh yeah.
Foreshadowing.
4 shadows. There's 4 of them.
There's four.
This movie doesn't see a big deal with an interracial couple.
Oh no one cares about that. No, no
That's
one
old
cares
news.
that he's a black guy, or no one cares about them being black. That's the thing. When I watched it, okay, I was like, okay, Black Annie, Blanny. I was a bit like, I didn't care about the ginger thing, and I was like, Bartek, I knew more about it than Bartek did. So for one, I knew it was Annie, not Carrie, and I was just like, okay. I was a bit biased. I walked in thinking, this is not going to be very good. Maybe I've made the wrong decision. Black Annie? It's just going to be banging on the issues of Annie, but instead of it being about her being an orphan girl, it's going to be her being a black orphan girl. And weirdly enough, this movie, although it is a black rendition and it is like people of color and all this, it really doesn't focus on the racial issues that I assumed that it would. And I think that is a part of the reason why it works and the reason why it doesn't work. I think that it didn't work because it had an expectation set upon it, which is if you're going to do a story about Annie, which is, a lower income girl, poverty stricken orphan girl being adopted by a powerful billionaire, there's going to not only be the classist undertones, but now that you're making a with black people, there's going to be racial undertones that were never actually in this movie. And I think that is what a part of its downfall is. But I appreciate that because I want to have a fun time. And I'm not saying movies with racial undertones and class undertones aren't a good time. They are. But I was worried they was going to beat you over and over the head with it. But I kind of take a small solace in the fact that this movie actually just didn't really address it. It's just like, this isn't about that. This is just a simple story about a girl who wants a father figure and a father figure who needs a daughter figure. It's just that kind of thing. A guy, redemption arcs all around.
Yeah, just because it's a movie that, whether it's targeted or not, it features a hugely, black leads, doesn't mean it has to be about black issues.
That's right,
Just like how movies with white leads don't have to be about white issues.
Yeah, those hard white issues, like, oh god dang, I look like mayonnaise. Those white issues.
Those white issues.
Where's our ginger issues, damn it?
I know, guys, where are the ginger issues?
What are some ginger issues? Tell us.
Sunburn.
Do you burn easily? Are you actually someone who meets that stereotype?
I burn so easily.
Yeah? Is it
Are you
one of those people who have to put on sunscreen before they go out? Just in everyday life?
Not in everyday life, but if I was going to be outside, then for sure. And
yeah, my everyday life, Ryan, does not involve the outside world.
What is outside?
I think one of the big ginger issues would be the South Park episode that had that whole joke about gingers don't have souls. And people took it seriously.
Oh my god, it's come up so many times.
Yeah.
People are like, what do you know? You don't have a soul. I'm like, wow. Okay.
I do have a soul. It's just very easily burnt.
I always just roll with it, and I'm like, yeah, I don't. That's why you should be afraid.
I love it. So, do you just burn? Since you act, have you just burnt under stage lights?
I'm like, I'm melting.
Ah! It's like, no, Ryan, don't put in the ultraviolet lights. No, because he just like explodes into dust.
Oh, Ryan, we're coming up to another joke.
Oh my god. Madison and I both agree that this is probably one of the best parts. Yes. He walks through this line of people. They're like, it's an audition. He's like, what? He didn't want this plan to be public knowledge. He didn't want it to be out there for everyone to know. He's walking past all these people who are obviously all acting for the part. And now he walks past a white couple. And it's like, that's an interesting choice. Like, what is Cameron? And these are callback auditions too, so they were successful the first time round, so they're coming back. It's just like, that's the best part. Oh, I didn't realize that they were acting against.
Yeah, it's like a pretend.
A pretend one. I didn't really notice that the first time because I was still laughing about
she's
that
wearing a red
interesting
dress.
choice. Yeah,
The pretend Annie.
It's pretend Annie.
I didn't even realize that.
Pranny.
Pranny.
That's a serious case of the Annies.
No, it's Problani.
Problani.
Remember, it's Black Annie, guys.
No, I've got a Problani with this film. It is the fact that
it's unappreciated.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's the problem.
My problem. I love David Kramer says hello. That hack. Like, shows his problem with these people. Cameron Diaz is becoming more attractive as the movie goes on. Like,
she found a crimper and is just doing it for you.
Yeah, but I think it's because she doesn't have like the middle braids. Is that what they're called? Like when you have little braids in the center of your head.
That's a good enough name for it. I have no idea what they're called.
You're a girl. You know hair things, obviously.
I don't know what middle braids are called.
Cornrows. Have you ever had corn? What's the most daring
Have I ever had cornrows?
Yeah, you're gangster.
No, I have not been a redhead with cornrows. That is too far. I am too white.
What's the most daring hairstyle you've ever had?
I cut my hair into a bob once when I was really young and I looked horrible because I was just chubby and it just was... No.
Could you do it now?
No.
Why?
I'm not chubby anymore, but it's just no.
Come on, I reckon it'll work. Redheads with bobs work.
Yeah, I'm
red,
scarred.
like bobs as in hairstyle, not with just people called Bob. Maybe that works. I don't know. So this is a scene in which I felt Jamie Foxx was pissed off while he was doing it. Like he look at him. He's just like, ha ha.
He's like aggressive.
He's like, haha, I'm here.
Because he had to eat marshmallows and he's like, damn, ruining my diet.
Yeah, I've just always had the same hairstyle. I don't think guys really care about hairstyles. I don't think there's a guy out there who's like, man, I had a bob back in the 40s. Like, in the 40s. I'm talking about like Bartek would.
This scene,
I went to the candy shop.
this scene is very touching.
It touched me somewhere.
In the penis, Ryan? Is that what you mean?
I like how you said in the penis. Not like on the penis.
We don't want to know what you and your girlfriend were doing while watching this film, okay?
In the penis. In it. That means like you can't touch it unless there's surgery involved or operation.
I'm sure you could, but it would be painful and weird.
Jeez, Ryan, I was playing on the whole "it touched me in my heart" thing.
It touched me in my balls.
Touch me in the special
I like how they
place.
just not my special place. I like how she has peace symbols flying about, like just like Annie's at peace, so we could kill her now. Yeah.
Now's the time for the massacre.
And that's when like guys just like parents come in, take her. Where were the fake parents gonna take her? I was really confused about that because they started running from the police. They were really shifty. I was waiting for them to go, it's failed, and they turn around with a pistol and just shoot Annie in the face, and the film goes to credit.
Be an amazing ending though.
There might be a bloody ending. Bloody Annie. That's Carrie. Like,
this guy's kind of a dick though.
he's a great dick.
At this point in the movie, I was
He touched himself
in the penis.
in the penis.
Let it be known, everyone. Ryan said that this guy's a great dick.
I know. That's I was playing on that part. Like I was playing with his dick. Jesus. Use that as a soundbite any way you like, guys. Make it as a ringtone. Make that as a ringtone. I was playing with his dick. What?
Also, edit like when Ryan said, "I liked it how you." Say, "I liked his dick." Just edit it that way.
Or you can just.
Or you can use me
edit
just
the part
saying,
where I just said, "I'll give gobbies for Ferrero Rochers," and you can remix it with Madison, who also said the same thing.
and occasionally throw in, "Give me ice cream."
Give me ice cream.
Aggressively yelling, "Give me ice cream."
And then go back to our Scooby-Doo episode and just get Bartek's legendary phrase, "I don't know how dogs work." And just chuck that in there, and then you have an awesome new ringtone. Oh my god! So,
this guy again, the white-haired guy.
No, that was Scooby-Doo 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, I said Scooby-Doo. Oh,
You said Scooby-Doo 2.
Scooby-Doo 1.
Because I was talking about Scrappy, and he wasn't in Scooby-Doo 2.
So this woman here,
Where did they get the other half of the locket?
Forgery.
Forgery.
I'm just assuming, but...
Money can buy anything, remember?
That's true.
No, wait, hold on. It's because she's her mum, right?
No, it's not.
Wink, wink.
Oh, no, Bartek.
Don't spoil it for the people.
Can I? I've already said that they're going to shoot her in the face. Spoiler alert.
Oh, no. This isn't G-rated.
I love the idea that...
They look similar.
Yeah, they do. But I like the fact that this actress here, she was in the Quentin Tarantino movie Death Proof. And Jamie Foxx was in a Quentin Tarantino movie. So
Which one, Ryan?
I do believe it was Django Unchained. But here's a spoiler. Little did we know that Quentin Tarantino decided to take his career in a new direction and directed Black Annie. Like, you know, he's been like making these black movies like Django and like Hateful Eight, where he's got a character that's, you know, the main character is a heroic black person during like the Civil War times, or you know that. He is this movie. He's like, I'm gonna make Annie. This is my Tarantino impersonation. Yeah, I'm gonna make Annie, and it's gonna be full of black people. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Ryan.
I'm gonna get my friend Jamie Foxx. He's so ghetto.
Ryan, I like your Woody Allen impression, but can we have your Tarantino impression like you promised?
Yeah, Tarantino, and then I like just do my
the
Paul Giamatti. Like, and he's my Tarantino.
Do his Australian accent from Django Unchained.
Here's my Tarantino impersonation. Man, yeah, it's me, Paul Giamatti playing Tarantino. What do you want? I'm an actor. I can only stretch so far. Yeah. Jesus. So the old Russian lady, like I'm just calling her the old Russian lady.
Yep.
Is there? She's waiting, and she now looks less old.
She's a bit snazzy.
Look, she is a thief, though.
I did say she's a kleptomaniac.
Damn Russians. Thieves, all of them.
Those
They
damn
tried to steal
Russians.
Poland from itself one time. Didn't they, Bartek?
They succeeded too, yeah.
Yeah, but tried, but we're free now.
Yeah, since like, what, 1990?
These didn't succeed for long.
Damn, Stalin.
Stalin. He's Stalin for time. He is. Can you imagine this movie, but with Jamie Foxx is actually Batman? Because I would watch that. I would watch Black Man Batman.
It's a matter of time.
Black man.
Black
No,
man.
no, 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 no,
You know,
black man.
you hear a lot of people...
And he's running from the cops, just like the stereotype.
On the topic of on the topic of like talking about how defined characters can't be of different races, they always bring up Spider-Man, but they never really bring up Batman, do they?
No, Batman. Batman's too hardcore. So, where was Batman in Civil War? Dang it. No, so...
Indian Batman.
Jamie Foxx has gone back to using the hand sanitizer. It's been a while. So this is the first sign that he's reverting back to his old ways. So when Annie actually does leave, he goes cold businessman for like 2 seconds and goes like, how's that thing going? Like that important thing about like having a battery last for a week. Now, guys, you have you have a smartphone, Madison.
I do.
Do they even last? They don't last a week.
No, mine lasts like maximum like 5 hours.
Yeah, I have
an old one.
I have an old Nokia phone that is not a smartphone, and if I leave it off charge, it will last 4 days. If I don't use it very much either, and if I do use it much, about 3.
That's good.
I've got roughly the same phone. Mine lasts like 6 days.
Mine's just pretty old.
Mine's 2, yeah.
It used to last longer, but as it's getting older and older, just need a new battery. But I can't be bothered because I'm too busy watching Blanny.
Speaking of Blanny, is this another scene that touched you in the penis?
In it?
Was
Around it, more like.
It was the bananas in the background, wasn't it?
It was more his key cutting thing.
I like the logic of that. I like the logic of that. We with penises get aroused by something shaped like a penis, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, look how yellow they are.
Yellow have a banana. Hey, not an Advil.
Not an apple. Not product placement.
Those bananas are pretty yellow. They aren't real. Bananas aren't yellow. We all know that they're
Are those
brown.
condoms in the... Look at the
No, they're
candy jar.
gum. They're gum. They're
That
not
is so
condoms.
not. Look at that purple packet.
That lollipop with the stick coming out of it?
No. Excuse me.
There was like round lollipops when just
Excuse
like
me.
a square.
She is, like, I'm not gonna slander Madison's purity or anything, but she is used to condoms with a thin white object in them. Jeez, Bartek. That you also suck on like a lollipop.
Yeah, well.
Jeez.
We're learning a lot today, guys.
We're learning a lot about gingers. Today's episode is brought to you by racism, gingers, glory holes, and gobbies. But let's not forget touching in and around the penis. But who could forget the real contributor to today's episode, the episode funder, Madison's weird thing for, I don't know, lollipop condoms. Lollipop condoms. The newest kind of lollipop or condom.
Hey, you gotta be
You
safe.
choose.
Safe, you gotta be safety.
Safety guaranteed. Guaranteed. And also brought to you by impersonations. Impersonations can be fun.
And facts like this. Penises can be used to fuck!
Bartek, of course, would not know that. That's also a fact.
Wait, do penises actually get used to fuck?
No.
You see, when a man and a woman love each other very much, Bartek...
He pees on her!
No. When a man and a woman love each other very much, Bartek, they both agree to leave their baby daughter at an Italian restaurant with a vague note that promises they return, but they never do. And that is how Madison and I were raised. That's why
That's how I was raised.
That's why we look at you, Bartek, with your toffee family. And
I was in the original Annie. I was Annie.
She is Annie, and I'm boy Annie.
I'm slightly put out by Blanny.
Well,
You were
I-
Oliver, and I was Annie.
I'm Ollie, and she's Annie.
Well-
Ollie and Annie. Where's that crossover movie?
Oh,
And
Annie?
where he's like,
Yeah.
could I have some more? And then you just hear,
The sun will
more.
come out.
It's like, more. And then you just hear the door open, and she's like, more. And it's just like, the sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow. And then I'm just like, but please, can I actually have some more? Like, I really do want some
No,
food, please.
Oliver would be offended because he lives in England where it's always cloudy.
Cloudy England.
So even if the sun does come out, you won't really see
The
it.
sun would come out tomorrow in Soviet England. And the Russian lady's still in both. And Bartek grew up in this magical, whimsical Peter Pan land.
Where we play internet ad-libs.
Where we play internet ad-libs. And I sighed when they were sighing. It actually had in brackets, sighs. So that was me quoting the movie directly. Annie, this is what you put on the poster. By Spit and Polish. The sighs.
Why sigh?
5 stars.
Can't we have like one of our lines about penises or something?
No, it has to be.
It's so
size.
inappropriate for a kids movie.
Size 5 stars. Spit and Polish.
Can we have Maddie's comment like, wasn't that a condom or something?
Yeah.
Wasn't that?
Wasn't that a condom?
Well, placement.
or
It
glory
looked
holes.
it though.
Yeah, sure it did. Far out. So, one time,
Aww.
one time I was adopted by a powerful billionaire, and it didn't end like this movie did. It ended like that episode of The Simpsons in which Mr. Burns is looking for an heir and he adopts Bart and he manipulates them against the family. Yeah, it ended like that. Odd. Like, he's got giant bowls there. My head. Concrete bowls in his house.
Everyone needs a bit of concrete balls.
Look at those concrete bowls in his house.
I don't like.
Bowls?
I don't really. I don't like
Tell that to your fella.
balls in my house.
Get out.
I don't like his house.
I don't mind it. Did you see how they had a whole dance number too about how amazing his house was?
So
The robot house that I wanted
Maddie
to kill me?
doesn't like it here.
She doesn't like it
I
here.
don't.
She's not Annie. Get out.
It is sort of postmodern, isn't it?
It's too like futuristic for me.
Yeah, postmodern. Bye, Annie. Like, she's not even allowed on the group hug or anything. Like,
she's
Rose Byrne-
get out, you assistant.
Grace is just like, I have friends. This movie has lots of segments in which they just do talk randomly. Like,
The dad was just ready to punch the dog in the face.
that is great direction from the director. He was saying,
Like he was like, okay,
punch that dog in the face.
Like this dog, it's gonna growl at you, alright? It's gonna growl at you. You've got to threaten
React.
to punch it.
You got to threaten to punch it. And he's like, wait, do I actually punch the dog? No, you don't punch the dog. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm 100% sure you don't punch the dog. But what happens if I just do it? Well, we won't get that certificate at the end of the movie by the Animal Association people that say that we didn't harm any animals because you have harmed an animal by punching it. Yeah, but I really want to punch the dog. Oh, all right then.
They were like, cut, do whatever you like, and then they said,
So the whole thing
We'll
about
fix it in post.
so a lot of the trivia that I read up for this movie, and I'm sure you did too, Ryan.
I read all of it.
Yeah, kept mentioning the whole rule of threes with the dog doing the bark, growl, and then chasing its tail thing. It happens 3 times in the movie, and like this time it's meant to indicate that something's wrong with the animals. So I thought that meant like they were its previous owners or something like that.
Yeah, that is true.
but
that would be
since-
interesting. That would be interesting as hell.
But whether that's true or not, it just seems to indicate, oh, this dog just happens to know that they're bad people.
Yeah, dogs can sense that. Here's something I would like to point out. Last episode we did Catch That Kid. The movie was similar. No, the movie was like half an hour shorter than this. Movie's 2 hours. It really feels like it's 2 hours long, and it's long in the tooth. I think it should have been cut down like 10 minutes. But this movie is got a longer feeling of pace to it, which I think really accommodates it because this movie has a lot happen in it. I think that all the movies we've done in this show, lots of things happen in it, and this movie is probably one of the most simplistic plots out of the ones we've done, but lots of interesting things happen in between it. And there comes a point, and this is the point, where we just haven't had a musical number in ages, and we just don't get one for ages, and then you kind of forget. In these last, I would say, 20 minutes or so, it's a musical? You just forget.
Yeah, there's like that one where Jamie Foxx is sad that she's gonna be taken away by her real parents while Cameron Diaz is also singing, so is Annie. And then there's the whole plot thing. And then around the time the resolution happens, that's where you get the final musical number.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of, to bring up it again, Purple Rain, it's the opposite of that. Because Purple Rain ended on like 2 musical numbers in a row, and those were the resolution of the movie.
Yeah, if we could compare this more to Purple Rain, I would love to do that. Please, she's wearing purple. She's about to cry. Like doves.
You commented on Grace's boobs earlier. Purple Rain did have boobs.
Boobs. No, boobs.
Oh no, look how sad she is.
She's sad. Let's talk about boobs.
She's like, hey kids.
Oh, Ryan, here's another thing that we can tie into something that you brought up a few times on this show.
Boobs.
The whole idea of, what if this movie was made before mobile phones were
Oh,
a thing?
yeah. This movie
The resolution
really
is...
solves that problem because its problem is solved by mobile phones.
Yeah, and the internet and the whole
She'd
thing that
be
you can
lost
access the
forever.
internet. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish child abduction would be this easy to stop. You know what I
Just
mean?
Instagram yelling kids from backs of cars.
I bet there's an account on Twitter like that or on Instagram where it's called Kids Yelling.
Kids
Kids
yelling in cars.
And who's it made by? And you find out it's made by Guy. and he's just like, "What? I like kids yelling in cars."
Stop singing.
So,
Stop singing.
yeah, being fired and punched was his comeuppance.
Oh, you came up
This
with
As
that.
far as we know.
This is one of my favorite bits as well.
This is hilarious.
Where he's like, "I don't know anything about helicopters. It's right here." Why is he
great.
there? Why is he coming? Who are they? How are they going to fit Annie in the helicopter?
I feel like that's too many people for the helicopter to be dangerous.
Isn't this kind of like a thing though, like where
You can't
all,
fit people in helicopters yet.
all the people who the main character is really close to all come in the climax. So I guess
That is true, but he could have caught a fucking cab.
Well, regardless.
I mean,
of
this
how
was
he got-
before Uber, so I guess he had to take it a long way around.
Well,
Doesn't he have a car?
Ah, it's New York.
New
no one has
York.
cars. Everyone gets a cab everywhere,
Well, if
except for
everyone
bad
drives
guys.
like these people, no wonder why there's traffic jams.
New York seems pretty barren. Like there's barely any people. Oh no, she's screaming.
I'm loving these
What?
updates.
And I like how she's like, she's doing it on purpose. Well, no shit. Like, what?
But like, even if you saw somebody famous yelling in the back of a car, would you really take a photo and then post it on social media?
Totally. If I saw me in the back of a car, I'm famous.
They have the whole thing.
People were saying to me the other day, Ryan from Spit and Polish presents Unappreciated Masterpiece. We need more photos of you in the back of cars yelling. And I'm like, I agree. No, I agree. You're saying, Bartek?
They had the whole thing of the mobile phone company can spy on people.
Yeah, they do spy. Except for like in Brazil.
But are they tracking her through that, or the fact that it's all on Instagram?
It's all on
and stuff?
Instagram, Twitter. They're figuring it out where she is by the locations of these photos, because none of these people have phones on them, so they can't track them. So, oh no, it's Stax. Wow, he'd be following us. Oh, I don't know. Use your brain, sweetheart.
I'm nervous. Drive faster.
Yes.
Maybe they're
Not why are the police after us?
Maybe they.
Why is Stax, the guy who we just stole the kid off, following us?
Maybe
he wants to give us a hug.
Maybe their thought process is, maybe Guy's coming to check up on us to see.
Yeah. It's like, holy shit, guy's after us, but he knows that we can't stop driving right now because we're running from the police for some apparent reason because of no child theft.
That was like a good coordinated center of capture.
And then the limo driver's the one who tackles him down, and the police just accept this. They're like, hands up, everybody! Like you all. Like, they don't know who these people are. The police are just doing their jobs. The real heroes are the police in these movies. Except for the Coast Guard and Scooby-Doo. Oh, don't get me started on that again.
The ones who we had a debate over whether they're good or not.
They're clearly evil. But then Jamie Foxx, we've missed the plot twist where she believes for no apparent reason, just to cause more conflict. Because this movie needed more conflict by the end, that she believes he orchestrated this all along, but then he points his bent finger at her and
he's like, you're number one.
Don't sing.
Finger.
Ew, when Annie got fingered. Ew.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say that. I was indicating glory holes and gummies.
Dude, Ryan.
Hey, that was all you. That was not me.
Ryan, one of the microphones says Fox on it.
Fox.
Could it
Mulder?
Could it be?
Is the truth out there?
No, dude. Could it be Jamie and Michael's brother?
The news report. The news report.
No, the microphone.
Yeah, the microphone.
Jamie, Michael, and microphone.
Jamie.
There are so many Foxes.
Jamie, Mike, and Michael. It's two Mikes.
It's crying because it's dusty.
Oh yeah. It's
I like how he fake cries without crying. I really relate to
he
that.
doesn't really. Yeah, I often don't cry.
I'm like, it's dusty.
Conceal, don't feel. So when Jamie Foxx eventually does die, in his memoriam video, they're gonna have that scene where it's like, I'm not crying, it's dust, and just say Jamie Foxx. Like they don't have Annie or anything. It's just Jamie Foxx.
Well, Annie didn't die.
Huh?
Annie's not the one who's dying.
No,
right?
but like from Annie, like Annie. You know how they make sure you know what movie. Oh, and then she's like,
They'll say actor.
stick your 2 fingers in her pussy, man. Come on, like, jeez, get your shit together, son. Like,
One.
am I the only one here that?
White mum.
I want a white mummy and a black daddy. Gee, now stick your fingers up there. I want a sister. I want a half sister.
Right, you do things differently. You put 2 in one. Usually they say 1 in the pink, 1 in the stink.
Well, you gotta start out gentle. They're only going up for the first time. He has to gently finger bang her with 2. Jeez.
Oh, God.
Jeez, Bartek doesn't know anything about romance.
So much romance.
Gee whiz, guys. Can it?
Gee whiz, guys, can it? I'm gonna tell my mum on you once she's done with the internet ad libs and she's come back from the toffee shop.
I'm gonna tell Mr. Belding on you.
I live a hard knock life, dang it.
Gosh. Dang nabbit, dag nabbit.
Gosh dang it, sassafras.
Oh, the last song started.
Oh, we're tying a knot, it's a noose. And we're tying it around your neck.
You have to watch the extras in the background dancing.
Oh.
Okay, this
Oh,
guy
the
with the
police.
sunglasses.
I also noticed him. I wrote
Yeah?
him down in my notes going, the happiest person in the movie.
Yeah,
Point
wait.
him out.
Wait,
This
this
guy
guy
with sunglasses.
in the jacket with the black sunglasses.
Yeah, in the blue, like it's got blue
the
shirt
blue-
or
the
something.
blue
Or
shirt.
something.
I
Here he
noticed
is.
him as
Like,
well.
okay, you go. What's his
Oh.
Bartek? He's like the happiest gentleman ever
He's
in the
like,
world. Like, look at him. He
yeah.
looks so happy. But then, the best part is Cameron Diaz joins in and loses. Like, whoa, it's clearly between them two. And then Grace just joins in. It's like, well, Grace. I want somebody to come up and be like, whoa, Grace. You know, it's clearly
Grace
between
isn't
them two.
about
There he is.
you.
Look at him. He gets more and more into it, Bartek, as it goes on.
Happy dancing.
I recognize the police dancing, but not
The policeman does dance, but look,
I love the awkward bobbing.
I love awkward bobs too. Like your haircut back when you were a kid.
That was my haircut in year 7, guys. That
Year
awkward
7?
bobbing.
Oh god, year 7. I thought you were like 7 years old yourself. That's not that long ago. That was like 10 years ago.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years since I was in year 7.
My hair's grown a lot since then.
It is quite long. Fact. It is quite long. Fact, Madison's hair is quite long. Look at him. Look at this guy. He gets really into it when she starts doing this and then he is like, I am joining in with this. Jamie Foxx looks unhappy to be here.
He's like, I
He
can't
is
really
the one.
dance. Watch
He's
slow
the only
dance.
one that's a dancer, musician, singer, and he seems like he gives the less shits out of anyone here. He's like, no, I don't care. I do this in my sleep.
Yep. So Cameron Diaz gave us another callback.
Yep. She's tying a knot. Oh, look, there he is, Bartek.
Oh,
Look at him.
see, he's just
It's
so
all in
excited.
the. It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. So Jamie Foxx is like, "Where's my money?" Because he auditioned to be in Jerry Maguire.
Jamie Foxx did.
Yeah, but Cuba Gooding Jr. got the part, and he auditioned he auditioned for the money. And he's just like, "Where's my money?" And it's just all that. So it's just
Ryan,
like,
that's the room.
yeah, that's the room.
Where's my fucking money, Denny?
I think it's that guy from Saturday Night Live. That's always like that guy who always comments on the fourth wall.
Slightly homophobic.
Yeah, and he's always making fun about white people, even though he's white. And they're red. Get it, guys? 'Cause Annie's red. Redhead
red,
Annie. How does that make you feel as a
dancing.
redhead?
Conflicted.
Conflictions?
Conflicted.
So, Pepper, she looks fairly white in this movie.
Yeah.
But then I look her up on IMDb, and the picture of the actress is a lot blacker
Oh, so they kind of
than she is in this movie. So I'm like, did they just light skin her up?
they might have chalked her a little bit.
Is it because she was too peppery to begin with? Oh, and another, not only was it Will Smith and his wife, but clearly his wife's brother or something, Caleb Pinkett, and Jay Smith, and Tay-Tay. Tay-Tay.
Tay-Tay.
We all love our Tay-Tays. Oh, it sounds like something else. So
Tits!
okay, Bartek, calm down. We get it. You have some big hairy tits. Jeez.
Well, I actually do, Ryan. I thank
we-
you not to bring it up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Bartek.
Be quiet
That's
and I'll show
insensitive
I'll
of me.
show them to you.
Tia Nolan. I wonder if she's related to Christopher Nolan. Again, Batman connections.
What about my Year 7 maths teacher, Mr. Nolan?
Tomorrow, and then oh, here she is, and yep,
And everyone's like, shit, Cameron Diaz can sing. Not.
shit, not, and then this is the end of the movie. At the end credits, I do believe it is Jamie Foxx in the theater watching the Ashton Kutcher movie and just commenting on it. Oh, did you like how in that outtake the what guy was back there and he was just like dancing? He's like, yeah. Too bad he didn't have a musical number called What? And it was just like, what? What you doing?
Ryan, I remember now. Her name is Quvenzhané.
Quvenzhané.
Yeah.
Thank you. Her name is Quvenzhané.
Quvenzhané Wallis.
Quvenzhané Wallis.
I needed to have a look at it in the credits to
Imagine trying to teach a kid to say that.
Well,
Quinn.
I can sympathise with her
Yeah, Bartek. So.
because of my last name.
Oh, I give up on his last name, and my last name's equally annoying to say.
I'm gonna name my daughter Quvenzhané.
Sliwinski.
Quvenzhané Kasprzyszak.
Oh
Quvenzhané.
God, I'm just gonna name mine Steve.
Steve
Boy or
Sliwinski.
girl?
That's my
Steve.
dad's name, oddly enough.
Quvenzhané
Girl.
Wallis.
Oh, it's Stephanie. Stevie.
You know, the reason why I know how it's pronounced is because I went on YouTube and there's like a 30-second video.
Yeah.
A
yeah.
guy at a really loud party asking her how to say her name.
Quvenzhané.
So after she says it loudly, it cuts to him, and he's like, this goofy looking guy's like, all right, here's how you pronounce it, guys. Quvenzhané.
So we've made it to the end, guys. Emotional time all round. So this is the part in which we do our reviews and give it a rating out of how we feel. Bartek, could you give us your review and your rating?
Sure I can. I mean, it's me, isn't it?
Yep. And then, like, in fact, it's not Bartek. It was Madison doing a wicked impersonation of Bartek.
And
then,
I was doing a
I'm
wicked
the
impersonation
best.
of Madison.
yeah, it's a complete role reversal like the movie Face Off. So give us your thoughts.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I came into this movie not knowing anything about it, but what I did think I knew, it was a movie that it was not.
Yep.
No one died.
I thought it was, as we said, Carrie, which because I haven't seen either of these, and they're both a girl's name, and I knew that both of them had a girl main character who's in school, even though in this movie the school is put aside very quickly.
Yeah.
Very
it is.
quickly.
It is put aside as quick as day.
So I started watching the movie, and you know, it wasn't that long before I realized, okay, yeah, Carrie's a different thing. So at that point, I was like, oh, okay, so I'm in.
20 minutes it took him. Come on. The song The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow does not appear for quite some time, but go on.
I suppose maybe in retrospect, it wasn't so much that I realized that this wasn't the murder movie, but it was me realizing why I thought it was.
That's perfect.
Because even that, it's technically the second song, but the song where they're singing in the bedroom and Pepper's being
Hard
all
Knock
cynical. And, no, the one right before that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the one, I can't remember how it goes, but it's the one where Pepper's being all, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Around then I was like, this is a musical movie.
Shit, dog.
Because I knew because I knew that Annie's an old thing, but I didn't exactly know that it was a musical.
Yeah,
That's probably embarrassing to say, but there you go, people. Ryan tapped me on the head just now.
Yeah. Because you're a special kid.
Thank you.
Special in a different way.
Well, that's a last name that's Polish. Tomaszewski.
What does it mean?
It's a last name, Ryan.
Okay, sorry. In
But-
some cultures, names mean stuff.
It means Brian.
But backward to my review.
Like, it means, like, he's a killer. Go on.
Yes. So I really like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was in this?
Yes, go on. Please, hurry up. Stop.
Okay.
Just finish.
Look, okay. I will not look at the screen anymore. I really like this movie. Jamie Foxx, I mentioned, was my favorite character in
Hero.
terms of the not silly ones.
Yeah.
I never really said who it was. It would be a toss-up between, Guy and the What Guy.
What guy?
Guy and the What Guy, jeez. It was touching. The relationship between Quvenzhané's character and Jamie Foxx's character was pretty much what sold me on this movie. It started off with that whole political thing of, oh yeah, we'll have this agreement, you can live here, which is really nice, and I can use you for publicity and stuff like that. Bit dickish, but it was an understanding. No problemo. But as it evolved, around the time where you mentioned she made him the breakfast and he was kind of goofy about it, he was feeding it to the dog, pretending he really liked it. That was the point where it started getting better, and it was the scene where he called Grace and asked her, in a roundabout way, because he's...
Can I adopt her?
Yeah, because he's a bit of a blokey guy, so he's not fully out there with his feelings. He asks her, hypothetically, what would it take to, adopt a daughter and stuff like that. To pause my review for a second,
Be moved. Be moved.
I don't know if that's a company or something, but...
in the credits, it just says, be moved in big letters.
It's the last thing you see before this ending scene where they're watching the mid-quake, whatever it's called.
That's what I'm talking about. So
yeah. Just, that's pretty much my main thing about it. As much I like musicals, and the music in this was very catchy, I enjoyed it, but it was the relationship between the foster dad and daughter that really got me into it.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. So I would have to give this movie...
It's hard. We gave it a lot of things.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of times where we just get up to this part where we give it a rating, and we just have to think... What does my heart say, or in this case, what does my penis
Penis in the heart.
Penis
Come on,
area
Bartek,
say?
get to the chop. 3, 2, 1.
I give this movie a whole body.
A whole body?
Yes.
A whole body experience.
body.
Well, I will move on and give... Let's just chop that whole body. I'll give a quick review. Bartek, you went pretty well. He said everything that needs to be said, really. This movie's a musical. Fact. This movie's a black version of Annie. Fact. This movie has Jamie Foxx. Fact. This movie has Cameron Diaz. Fact. And the biggest fact of them all, this movie has condoms in it. Fact. That's just a fact.
Such a fact.
Fact.
You're stealing her review.
Nope, sorry. And if I had to give... Okay, I love this movie. It was a great movie. I was really happy to do a newer movie because as much as I love the era of the early 2000s, late 90s, I was feeling a little bit stagnant with that. Like, all the movies had the same look, the same tone, the same feeling. One runs into the other. Like, you could marathon all 20 of those movies that we've done, and they all kind of blur into one another, into this great cataclysm of wonderful films. And I felt like we needed a shift. Once we did a movie from 1990s in the early part, now we're doing a movie that's closer to our time to get an understanding of, hey, it's not just one period of time that these unappreciated movies come from, but even really close. I remember this movie being highly advertised, but no one went to see it. Did you guys see it when it came out? No. Nobody saw this movie, and I am disappointed in the human race for that. If I had to give this movie a rating, do I? What? That's my rating. Just what? What do you want from me? What? Can you imagine this movie with Joe Pesci, the guy from Goodfellas, and he's like, what? Come on! He's just like,
I know him from Raging Bull.
Yeah, Madison. Let's hear your review and the rating of your choice
of Annie.
Yeah.
Well, first, I've never seen a musical that I relate to more than this one in film form.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except for maybe the original Annie. I found it interesting, enjoyable in parts, whimsical.
Whimsical, yeah.
I don't know, like, quite the rating. I think just the Ferrero Rochers and the condom cameo.
Just the
For
rating
me.
Ferrero Rochers and condoms.
Like
That's
any-
a night out.
So
Yeah.
That's a night
That's
out.
like my ideal night, guys. Ferrero
Take that,
Rochers
the
and
boyfriend
condoms.
that's been with her for 4 months. I guess you know what the 5th month anniversary present's gonna be.
Oh, I'd be a winner.
Ferrero Rochers in condoms.
so to paint a picture, it would be like a person lying down dreaming, and inside the dream there's like a Ferrero Rocher inside a condom.
Yeah. The ultimate lovemaking
I feel
is
like it'd be
to
like
have...
latexy though. I don't know.
No, the ultimate love
You don't
experience.
have to eat it.
What she's saying is she just wants to have sex with a Ferrero Rocher. That's the ultimate experience that we all want, is to have sex with confectionery and chocolates.
Everybody wants to. It's just frowned upon.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, why do you think they call it a Twix? I mean, come on. So, Madison, what I didn't tell you before prepping you was, not only do we do our own reviews, this is my favorite part, I go to IMDb and find reviews for this movie that match a certain kind of theme. Last week, I kind of defined these movie critiques in a perfect way that I think we're going to carry on, which was, these reviews are from another dimension entirely. It's like if we looked into another dimension in which this movie did successfully, and these people are adoring it, because this is not our reality, and some of these people speak in ways, and this first review particularly, speaks in ways that no human from our dimension would speak.
Okay.
But somewhere, in some parallel universe.
Over the rainbow.
Over the rainbow.
Yeah,
This one, Bartek, you gotta love this. This one's just, I'm sorry, I gotta cut in straight away. Your comment's not gonna be as good as this review. I'm just
I
cutting.
wasn't making a joke, but okay.
No, nothing's as good as this one. Cameron Diaz is the title.
Could I just give some sort of disclosure on it?
Yeah.
When I went to IMDb to look at this, I briefly noticed this, and I read like the first sentence, and I stopped because I knew I'm gonna wait for the show because I know Ryan's gonna read this.
I hope. I went through. Okay, fun fact. I like to try and get negative and positive reviews. I went through 7 pages, and the lowest review I could find was 7 stars.
Oh wow.
And all of these reviews, you might hear something in common with, I don't like the negative reviews on this site, but I could not find them. I gave up after page 7.
I've been waiting to hear this review for like 20
Cameron
hours.
Diaz,
Okay.
10 out of 10. I love that movie, but Cameron Diaz is a good actress in Shrek film series. Yeah, I love. Yeah, come on, Bartek. And this is from America, too.
Yeah, this is all that I read of this review.
Yeah. I love Shrek movie to Cameron Diaz. Could you give Cameron Diaz a favor? Could you?
Could you?
Could you give Cameron Diaz a favor? I just want to find. Oh God, Jesus! I just wanted to find Macaulay Culkin somewhere in New York City. Call the police and call the straight mental jacket hospital. The straight jacket mental hospital for Macaulay Culkin. Cameron Diaz wants to see him in New York. Ask her that I want to speak with her. Jesus. Macaulay Culkin's in trouble. Call the straight jacket mental hospital to Macaulay Culkin and New York. Yeah. Another dimension.
So bizarre.
And oh God. And New York Police Department to find Macaulay Culkin. I would like to speak with him. I would like to speak with him, please. It's important. Don't worry. I guess I'll see you real soon. Just ask Cameron Diaz to see me in Rocklin, California. Tell her to bring Macaulay Culkin in Rocklin, California too. I've got a surprise for the animated movies. It's a Disney movie, and now I have got to go. And now I've got work to do. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you love this. Have a nice day.
I have no faith in society.
This was written by someone in America in 2015. Sometimes I let these slide because they're written in like late 90s or the early 2000s where people didn't understand how the internet worked and blah, 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 blah. But this one, the literal phrase, Cameron Diaz wants to see him in New York City. Ask her that I want to speak with her. Macaulay Culkin's in trouble. And like, why is Macaulay Culkin being brought up in this? And then, have a nice day. This movie makes my day. 10 out of 10. I forgot that last little bit. This movie makes my day. 10 out of 10. No, that was a mistake on my part. That's the name of the next review. This movie makes my day. A 10 out of 10 review. Again, all of them are practically 10 out of 10. This one written in 2016, right? So really, really close to where we are now.
We're not
at the
even
start.
halfway through the year, yeah.
And this is at the start. Okay, this is what they had to say. Wow! What a delightful surprise. Everyone in the family loved this movie, and yeah, we enjoy this version much more than the original. And we are white!
I love how they had to make that a point.
In brackets, for those ones who claim that this is a black version of Annie. End brackets. My 3-year-old daughter is obsessed with it, and even my husband, who hates musicals, really liked this one because there is much more realistic vibe to it. The beats are groovy. The singing is impeccable and is not accompanied by excessive dancing involving a group of 100, all with the same facial expression, and then they put a little smiley face. So I guess that expression, smiley face. Yep. No, yeep. Yeah, they put yeep. This is not your type of musical. It is so much better. Instead of skipping the singing moments, you play them over and over again. And the kid, Annie, oh my, what a voice. I cannot believe how much emotion she puts into her songs, and she is only 11. 10 out of 10.
It's almost unbelievable that's her singing.
Yeah, it is.
Almost.
This one is from Japan.
Ooh, this might be
And
the first one from Japan.
It's called Love It. 10 out of 10.
Oh, that's a thing I forgot in the trivia. Apparently, this movie is huge in Japan.
Every movie's huge in Japan.
Apparently, the soundtrack to Annie from the 2014 Black Annie is like the most bought music CD on Amazon Japan, apart from Japanese productions.
That's beautiful. Well, let's hear what this Japanese person had to say. Annie is a little orphan girl who is looking for her parents every day. She lives in an orphanage with other girls. One day, she is chasing a running dog. She is hardly run over by a car.
Hardly. Hardly, just partially. Not quite.
Or is it like, she hardly got hit by it? Or is it like, it was really hard? Okay. The person who helps Annie is Will Stacks, the mayor of New York City.
Okay.
He is evaluated by what he did. So, as to get more votes, he and his secretary welcomes Annie to their residence and start living together. Annie knows that he is doing for that election, but for her, it is a good way to look for her parents also. Two.
Also two.
Like that.
How will the relationships be in the end? Can Annie find her parents? This movie is the remake version, and the previous one is shown. A long time ago. Actually, I knew Annie, but I didn't have the opportunities to watch, so it was my first time. I was asked to watch this movie, and I also rented this DVD and watched it a few times. I really like it. The storyline is very good and heartwarming. Also, since this is a musical movie, about 10 songs are included. They make me very fun to watch, and didn't feel bored at all. I totally like everything.
I was like hearing that in like an Asian accent.
I totally that's racist. Okay, this one's a bit of a longer one, so I'll try and get it at a good pace. Refreshing opportunity. Smiles, songs, and heart. 10 out of 10. I've seen it 12 times now. A movie that makes me laugh and sing along with the characters deserves a 10, because the experience of going to the theatre should be a positive one. This new Annie is a refreshing opportunity to enjoy and feel good. You will connect emotionally with the characters, Annie, Mr. Stacks, Miss Hannigan, Grace, and Lou, and care about their journey. This is a film that celebrates the wonders of childhood. It reminds us of how precious our little girls are. Annie, 2014, will make you laugh, smile, and it will warm your heart. There are some wonderful and touching moments. Those are the moments you look forward to if you watch this film a second, or third, or fourth time. Q Wallis. I love they didn't even want to bother either. They just wrote Q Wallis. Performance is energetic and genuine. Her singing is stellar. No wonder why Annie has 2 Golden Globe nominations, Best Actress in Musical and Best Original Score. The way Wallis sings Opportunity is breathtaking. Wow.
Because she took lots of breaths.
Our contemporary Annie is authentic and smart. She navigates the streets of New York with the hope that one day the sun will shine upon her and she will find her parents. I love her assertiveness. I am a foster child, not an orphan. In many ways, Annie is a role model. We should all learn from her about the other characters. Byrne is a lonely, sweet, intelligent assistant who finds a friend in Annie. Diaz portrays a hopeless / bitter failed singer who now takes care of the foster little girls. Foxx plays a funny, lonely, and ambitious mayor of New York.
Michael J. Fox?
Yeah. That's a good one. Candidate. He too sings with passion and heart. I love how Lou, the Latin guy, adds a spicy, funny, and sweet twist.
Latina.
Any flaws with this movie? Yes. Some songs are bad, and some scenes are terribly silly. But those flaws do not eclipse the great message, the great music, and the great acting. The more I watch it, the more I love Annie and her quest. Overall, Annie 2014 delivers what it promises: music, family, comedy, and sentiment. That was a 10 out of 10, guys.
Some scenes were terrible, but 10 out of 10.
I love some terrible, but 10 out of 10. Real critics don't rate with ones is the name of this next one, and it's a 10 out of 10. It is a shame many have to offset a movie's rating with exaggerated numbers to attempt to get a reasonable rating outcome for some movies. I don't get why IMDb allow a 1 or 2 ratings out of a perfect 10. There are some very dumb so-called movies in the world. However, we have to get off of the dumb 1 ratings because a movie has personal issues with some movie opinions. Okay, a 1 out of 5 would make sense for someone who totally hate everything about a movie. Yeah, I get it. Different faces and a breach away from the original Annie musical. Okay, then we take away points for originality. Well, how about individual character acting? Okay, then we slam off points for poor acting. What about the feel or the plot of the movie? Was it entertaining? Maybe funny? Interesting? I'm making the point that Annie falls far from short of originality. However, entertaining and acting was not subpar, worthy of a senseless 1 out of 10. I have seen too many movie ratings ruined by people personal 1 out of 10 ratings, which should be more of a 4 or 5 out of 10. And I also know the reverse of some people like myself who may rate a movie 10 just to offset those ridiculous 1 out of 10 ratings. Anyhow, the movie was good for an updated version of Annie. Great entertainment for the family. It definitely deserves better ratings than a 3 or lower. I recommend this movie for great family entertainment and a twist of the original Annie. Beautiful stuff. And here's the last one, guys. It's an emotional one. Okay. Such a great movie. Destroyed by songs. 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Only a 7 out of 10.
This is the lowest one. And this is, in all caps, too much songs.
Too many songs. Sir.
Too much songs.
Stop singing.
It's written by Guy.
It's written by Cameron Diaz.
Too much songs. I come from an Indian background where in movies there is a few songs, but this is just too much.
Just a few songs? I've seen Bollywood movies.
I've seen Bollywood too. I think many songs. But there are just a few songs. But this is just too much. It was such a great movie, ruined by songs. I quite enjoyed it, but to be honest, I think they emphasized the kids' parts of the movie too much. They emphasized the kid part of Annie.
You missed the condom cameo, obviously.
I mean, they just had too many songs. 2 songs would have been alright, but this is just insane.
2
To
songs.
conclude, I really recommend this movie to anyone that has kids, but other than that, you're gonna need a lot of patience to cope with the songs. It has a good story that really shows a very important point. I often see it many times when the poor are not greedy and are always happy with what they got, and the rich opposite. But to be honest, I have also seen the complete opposite happen in other areas, so it's more based on opinions. 7 out of 10. I like he's like, I want this musical movie to only have 2 songs.
Yeah, like, that's not a musical.
One at the end, one at the start, opening credits, ending credits. Too much songs. Too many songs.
Stop singing.
Stop singing. So guys, that was Annie, 2014. How do we feel? Do we feel good that we've got this energy out to speak about such a magnificent movie? We walked in with our heads held low thinking, maybe we can't do justice to this unjustifiable movie, but I think we've did it. Madison, Maddie, mad. She's a mad woman. She's looking at condoms and lolly jars. Gobbies, Ferrero Rocher.
I was all innocent.
Sure you are. She's a ginger. We all know they're promiscuous. That's the other urban legend.
Maybe that's why they had to make a Black Annie.
Black Annie, Blanny.
Yeah.
Too promiscuous. It's been great to have you on. First timer.
I know.
Now we pop that cherry, which also happens to be red. Bartek, as always, you've been a wonderful co-host, saying the things that we miss, the important things, questioning, forever questioning. It's always hard with movies like this, especially with us two having done so many, that it feels like, for me, feels inappropriate after a while to keep asking questions because we've asked them before, we've tread this ground before, but sometimes we do need to ask these questions because the answers are always different to these movies, don't you think, Bartek?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Bartek, as always, you've been a wonderful host. And you guys have been wonderful, fantastic listening people. As always, you can follow us on Facebook, Spit and Polish Presents. We also have an iTunes link, which is also Spit and Polish Presents. And, of course, the Podbean. So feel free to follow us on there. Give us any ratings or comments or whatever. Because, hey, if you want to suggest a movie that we do, well, we need to know, because you might be sitting there going, when are they going to do Black Annie, and then we may have never gone to Black Annie. It's only by sheer luck and force and gobbies.
Oh, so many goddamn gobbies, Jesus Christ.
You guys have been great, fantastic, wonderful listening people. And as always, be kind to each other and never, ever, ever tread on your father or brother.
Yes. And Ryan, you've also been a great co-host once again.
Thank you, Bartek.
You're very welcome, Ryan, for you thanking me.
Until next time, guys.
Oh, you almost said nest instead of next.
What?
Nest.
What?